Welcome to Between Nerds, where our stonks are headed straight to the moon. My name is Drew Philip Elias. I am here with my co-host, Mr. Aldo Mendez.
Hey, nerds, how you doing?
I think we're all great. Weird news this week. 2020 might be equally as weird as 2020, but I'm glad we're still here. Glad we're hanging out. Glad we're watching anime.
Hope everybody secure your waifu stonks.
Yeah.
Hold them.
Honestly, like, we're gonna start Robinhood, but just to trade waifus.
Yeah. We gotta make that a currency as well.
Yeah. Fuck Dogecoin. We need Haru coin.
Haru coin. Hell yeah. Zero coin.
02 coin. But yeah, we are here for episode... Is this 30? Or is this 29?
I think this is 29.
Okay, we are here for episode 29 of Between Nerds podcast. We're about to pass 2,000 downloads. We are 4 away.
Thank you to all our guests this month. Honestly, bro, I missed this. I miss not having a guest.
Honestly, it's the girls were the only one I felt not stressful while recording. Because VNA and Karen, like, having done this already, like, it was easy for, like, us to just sit back and VNA's describing, like, the whole movie, and Karen had, like, good original input. But then us, like, we've seen Spirited Away how many times in the past 20 years? Like,
I don't know. Long enough, but yeah, it's. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I said, thank you to our guest. It was great. I think we're trying to get better at the 3 people or multiple people format.
Yeah,
and I feel like it was the easiest with the girls. I mean, also they're our girlfriends, so we should be able to talk to each other.
I was baked like a cake, so it was easy for my incapacitated brain to follow along. So shout out to VNA for that one.
Hell yeah! And man, it's what
we are gonna discuss Beastars.
Yes,
we are gonna watch. This past week it's like a pre-production for our non-Valentine's themed February, which we are starting technically this week with talking about Beastars, because the idea for this podcast for February is we're going to be watching, like, kind of romantic comedy-ish anime, and we have that scheduled up until February 28th, and to that point, Beastars is probably my favorite anime of last year, of 2020. I voted in Crunchyroll's Anime of the Year. Yeah, Anime of the Year awards. So if it's still open, like, y'all should totally vote for Beastars, because I think it's amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking crazy, bro. I remember so long ago, I had mentioned it to you. You say it was first shit, and then I was like, okay, I'm not gonna watch it. And then 2 weeks later, you're like, oh, dude, you should watch fucking Beastars. And I'm like, no, you said I shouldn't watch it. But man, just from my girl alone, because I asked her, like, so what'd you think? Is like, it's fucking weirdly real and surreal at the same time.
VNA Sosa loved it.
Yeah, she liked it, and she's like, I not only that I got past the point that it was animated, I got past the point that they were animal animations.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the point, because when you think about it, like, the non-relationship plot arc is just the plot to fucking Zootopia. It's that if there was, like, a mixed animal society with a bunch of humanoid animals, everyone would either be afraid of the predators or just randomly getting kidnapped by them. And that's literally the plot to season 1 of Beastars. So, it's... Okay, before we get too far ahead. Aldo, in big terms, what is Beastars about?
It's a love story. But because of this, and I can't put it in small words, I mean, that would be it, but that doesn't explain the entire, like, anime. Like, if I tell you that it's a love story, like, that doesn't include, like, the fact that we're telling the story around a animal world. Right. You know? So you have these instances where, like, Legochi almost, like, fed himself, you know what I'm saying? And we have, like, the murder at the beginning. So we start with the first episode with, like, this alpaca being chased, right? Yeah. And it's really good music, all 3D modeling, but it looks fucking great.
I think it's, for me, Beastars has some of the, like, most progressive writing of anything we've talked about for this. the female characters are all like motivated, independent female characters, and the writing isn't like it's just about like the awkwardness of being a teenager, kind of, and like you're trying to get over like maybe I guess they're all animals in Beastars, and it wants you to not think of them as animals and like they're people. So I'm glad you brought up it's like a love story, because while watching it the second time, I literally thought it reminded me of Romeo and Juliet, because the plot of Romeo and Juliet is like they're in two different families, so they can't be together because like society and their families just won't let it happen
because of incest. Yeah.
Was that why?
I don't know.
Well, no.
How do you preserve a pure line of your family blood?
No. It's because their families were enemies.
No, I get you.
Oh, okay.
I'm just fucking around.
But then in this example, like our main couple is a teacup rabbit and a giant gray wolf. So in like this society, predators try not to mingle with herbivores because, you know, they could give into their instincts and eat the herbivore.
And I don't know if you noticed, as you're talking about this, you just said, like, it doesn't want to make you think of the animals, but the animal factor within the storytelling is essential to the story that they're telling, right?
Yeah.
Because if you were to make all these characters humans, it wouldn't make sense that a human was going to eat another human, right?
Yeah.
So it wouldn't make sense that there were herbivores and like carnivores, right? Like that aspect wouldn't. You would have to change the whole story around to make it make sense if you want to tell the same story. If you want to make them humans,
yeah. And
so I'm sorry. And then so like the fact that they're telling this weird, like almost like character development, but not in the anime sense, like in like your own person, like, oh shit, this is building character. To oneself, like if you go through a situation or something, you grow from that, and you're watching this wolf going through it, kind of.
Yeah, because it's literally like the relationship feels very not animalish, like when they're talking to each other. It's about like, so Legoshi, the gray wolf, is a virgin. He's 17 years old. Like he's never had a girlfriend really. He's like clinically depressed. Like all his like best friends know he's just a sad sack, right? And like the female, the teacup rabbit, Haru, she's a loner, has like literally zero friends, and like she's basically been having sex for like a while, right? Because it was implied like that she only started to see value in herself through her sexuality. And that's why like I think that Beastars has the most progressive writing of anything we've seen.
It's wild, man, because, I mean, we know that, like, so far, we're barely starting to see a more progressive writing in anime than before, you know? Like, before, like, it would be a big deal if they would hold hands, you know? Big deal they would kiss. Big deal, like, what was the most recent shit that we've seen that starts off with sex? Fucking Domestic Girlfriend.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like right off the bat.
And Domestic Girlfriend was really immature about it. And that's like a 4-year-old anime, you know what I mean? So like, you're right. Like, it feels like past like 3-4 years, all of a sudden, like, Japanese writing caught up to like American sexual standards, like, and I think like Haru is how I interpret her character arc in the bigger terms, like my original question. I see her as she's a small herbivore. She's weak. She's helpless. Like everyone assumes she's either going to get eaten or stepped on, but she is. It's like, to me, it feels like overcoming the patriarchy through your sexuality, because if the men that she meets are dumb enough to only give her value through what she can do for them, it like puts her above them because she's manipulating the system to help herself, which is like the best female writing like I've seen in I don't know how long. Like the last time I was trying to think about it this week. Last time there was writing about female characters that made me feel like this was Madoka Magica, because that was like without even saying it, it was again about their sexuality a little bit, and Madoka Magica is about like these teenage girls coming to the fact that like they love each other.
And you know what? Now that you're mentioning this, I really hope that you watch this movie that we watched yesterday, Young Promising Women. Dude, it's like the most solid, like, female, like, powerful character.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because they don't fake empower her. You know, like, most like, movies with a female role, sometimes it's like a fake kind of like empowering, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think that's why like nerds sometimes get mad, because remember Endgame came out and there's that one scene in the final battle where it's just all the female Avengers.
Yeah. Badass, bro.
I thought it was dope, but like remember nerd Twitter was so obsessed about it because it was a little forced. Like nerds still complain about the Captain Marvel movie, right? Because nerds just can't see like a leading role woman for some reason. And I find that super annoying and like really immature, because that kind of person can't watch something like Beastars, right? Because they're going to be like, well, number one, like the idea of a rabbit and a wolf having sex, like,
it's disturbing.
Yeah, it's a little disturbing. So on a surface level, like, you're probably not going to like it. But like, if you look deeper down, you couldn't even go deeper, because if you were to see them as like people, like a very promiscuous like young girl, you would demean her almost. Like, she wouldn't hold value to you as a character.
And she's older than Legoshi. Mm-hmm. You know, she's a senior, and Legoshi's
she's 18, he's 17.
Okay, yeah, he's a junior. So yeah, we start off like the season I said with the murder of this alpaca, and
we don't know how he was murdered.
Yeah, we don't know how he was murdered. We just know that it was like Tem is his name. Mm-hmm. He starts saying, "Oh, you carnivores only like wants to be friends to eat us and shit like that." And we just see like a big bite on him, right?
Right, and that's like the looming like danger, because we don't know which of the students at the school are the secret murder predator.
So it kind of gives off like a very crazy vibe, like the first day, like in school, like, oh shit, did you guys hear about like that guy that was murdered in school? You know, it's crazy.
We get all our character meetups in the beginning too. So like Legoshi, that like Tem was one of his best friends.
Golden Retriever.
Yeah, and what was his name?
I can't remember.
But remember, so it starts off Legoshi, the sad sack, depressed gray wolf, is sad again because his best friend just died, and he's talking to by the end of episode 1, he tries to talk to the girl that Tem was in love with, who was like an alpaca female. Mm-hmm. And he like shares like a love letter with her, and she's like, yo, like, I want to give this to you because Tem would have wanted me to. But that's when we meet and Rui too.
And the way this like transpires is that they almost insinuate that Legoshi was the one that ate or killed the people, because he's like the sad sack. He's in the theater club. He only works the lights. So he's like just being loner, you know. And we start seeing like this like argument between the carnivores and the herbivores within the theater club. And he just looks very menacing and shit like that. So he approaches the alpaca, and she even thinks that he's gonna eat her, right? And he just gives her this love letter. It's like, hey, it's like, my best friend wanted to give you this, but he never got the chance to.
Oh, but I'm glad you brought up that scene, because at this point, that's where we start to learn that like the music's really important in the directing here. Dude, like every scene is set up beforehand just on the music. Like the music will tell you through cues like, yo, this is about to get serious. This is about to get scary. This is a weird, or like situations that are hard to like understand, like how you're supposed to be feeling about it. Like it might be something awkward or funny or something almost scary, but the music will cue you like it's a dorky funny moment because Legoshi's so awkward or something, and it'll cue up those moments through the music. Yeah,
it's almost very like Star Wars orchestra feeling. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're telling the story through the motion of the music,
but less instruments. Like it's jazz.
It's jazz. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's not an orchestra. Yeah. It's like just easy, like flutes, easy jazz, easy.
There's like one piano, one like horn,
trumpet. Yeah. It's nice. It's fucking amazing, bro. The music is really, really fucking good.
I like the intro a lot.
Like, if you were to give me like a vinyl of Beastars, give me a vinyl for Beastars,
bro. I was going through the Beastars like album on Apple Music. It's dope. Like it's just, or I think it was, but it's. Like all the music is just like high quality, like Soul. Like the soundtrack to Soul is the same soundtrack to Beastars, and that's so weird to think about.
Yeah.
Because they're completely different, like...
Stories.
Yeah, and just medium altogether. Like, one's like an American Disney film, and one's made by fucking Orange Studios in Japan.
Yeah, about bunny and wolf fucking.
Oh, they don't fuck.
No, they don't fuck.
They don't fuck. They don't fuck.
They don't fuck.
But
Way to spoil it, Jeremy.
Well, I brought up Orange Studios. I just want to talk about the animation for a second before we get past episode 1. Like, I know we're taking forever.
At the point, no. At the point that we are right now, okay, let's fucking discuss animation. It's all 3D modeling.
Yeah, and normally I bitch about it every week. Every week I bitch about 3D modeling, but this is the one time I'm like, all right.
It's so good. We talked about the frames per second last night. It's human movement, and they use very low. What was it? 12 frames per second.
12 or 13. Yeah,
very low. Frame rates, but it is to make it look almost humanoid, like almost human movements. Which I don't know why the fuck not. They cannot do that to. Like the Evangelion 3D modelings, like it looked all clunky because they wanted to make it so fast and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like AOT, you were telling me that they're using the gyro whatever things.
Oh yeah, the what's it called? The ODM gear.
ODM gear.
In AOT, like this current season, they're using the ODM gear. And it just looks like a video game. Because, like, if all the Paradise characters are in one frame just zipping around, it just looks like a shitty Final Fantasy game from, like, 10 years ago or something like that. And, like, the only piece of the animation in Beastars that throws me off is what you're talking about, like, the human movement. Because, our eyes are trained, like, how people move, right? So there's some, like... frames turning around or like a character model turning to the side that look very awkward and like stiffish, like a person wouldn't move like that. But like Orange Studios put so much detail in the models themselves. Like the fur looks great. Like every still frame in Beastars looks like it could be 2D because that's what they're going for. They're like, okay, we're doing 3D modeling and we know everyone hates it, but we're going to make every frame look amazing. And the benefit of using 3D models and not being hand-drawn is the movable camera. And like in the scene you were talking about in episode 1 where he has a scary moment with like the female alpaca, like the scene is staying the same, but the camera's moving around. So this is like one of the first times in something we've watched that has a movable camera like a movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we talked about this last night too. It's like that's why fucking The Matrix was so mind-blowing, You would have shown that movie like 5 years before the year they showed up, it would have fucking blown people's heads, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And like you said, so far we have all these great shots, and like you talk about the fur, like even when he gets angry you can see his hairs like just stand up like little by little. Yeah, exactly. And it looks fucking crazy, because even like they keep stature to these animals. So you'll have a little ass squirrel, little ass mice and hamsters roaming the school. So it looks all trippy. They have like different size stairs for like the different animals, different little doors. And they incorporate like all these fucking details in every single all 3D model shot.
Oh, and it's a boarding school. We didn't even mention that. Like, and that's like something kind of original too, because it's like this is a lot about teenage sexuality, and that's why it's so like funny, because it's just like a bunch of kids trapped in a school. Like, what are these children gonna do if they're all living in the same location and like
just fucking going crazy on
and
hormones?
And that's what I mean. Like, it's just kids being kids, like exactly what you would expect. Like, it's very real in that sense, because like a lot of anime would be like soften it down, you know what I mean? Because like we're gonna pretend that this is a boarding school, but like kids are kids.
Fuckfest.
Yeah. It's not just some big like teenage orgy or something like that.
And anyways, we fucking go, and we know that Lego She's a solid dude, even though we were led to believe that he was a murderer. Like, we start seeing a little bit more development to him. He's just a sad sack piece of shit. Like, he's just looming around.
It's clinical. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Because I think the clinical definition of depression is just being like in a depressed state for like longer than 30 days. Correct. Like, I think the actual definition is something like that simple. And like, she's always sad. So like, he's clinically depressed.
Yeah, absolutely. And but we know that he's a solid dude, because not only did he give the letter to that girl for his dead friend now, he goes to deliver like some tribute to the door that they had closed down from the theater.
Mm-hmm. He gives like flowers and stuff. Yeah. Like he pays his respects.
Mm-hmm. And then we meet the deer.
Well, no. Yeah. So then Louis, who's like... So it's called Beastars because the idea is that there's like a head animal in charge and they get like an award.
And this is where it gets very anime. Mm-hmm. Like, this is where it gets very anime because it's like, oh, he's the leader of the theater club. Yeah, he wears a jacket and he pretty much controls the school. I'm like, what?
He's gonna be the next Beastar.
Yeah.
You don't know who Louis is? That's the next Beastar.
Yeah. And it's supposed to be a big thing, you know?
Yeah, like it almost sounds like a popularity contest for the school, except it's like all of the town is getting together and making somebody a Beastar.
I don't know, brother.
Like and it's about a lot of Beastars. The show is also the narrative of like children versus adults. Because the idea a lot of the time is that like the children are untainted and they're not mired in the controversies of being an adult. So like a lot of times the adults in the situation and the kids will be at odds because the adults just want society to run smoothly and don't want drama because they know that a society of like herbivore and carnivores mixed is like a problem. And Louis being introduced to the adult world through being a potential Beastar, he's exposed to that controversy of being an adult. Like the really negative, sweep under the rug things that happen, Louis is exposed to it as a potential Beastar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he starts noticing Legoshi for some fucking reason.
Well, it's kind of really like guy lovey by the time you get to episode 2 because it's like there's a lot of suggestive scenes between Louis and Legoshi. Because Legoshi's like, he's a pushover. Like, he's like an 8-foot tall gray wolf, but he'll let himself get bullied by like a 5'10" gray deer, brown deer.
Yeah.
So wait, hold on. So we meet Legoshi in episode 1. He talks some shit to Legoshi, but we meet Louis in episode 1, but he talks some shit to Legoshi, and that's all we see of Louis in episode 1.
Correct.
The end of episode 1 is Legoshi goes feral, almost. Or they don't have a term for it in the show. But, like, carnivores will go, like, red-eyed. Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah, the way they get there is because Louis is doing this bad boy thing where he's going to use the theater floor to train this fucking guy to replace Tem in the fucking thing. So Legoshi's lookout. Mm-hmm. So he's in the mist in front of this like school yard.
Yep.
You know, and we have Haru, which is our what is it? Snow bunny?
She was like a teacup rabbit or something.
Teacup rabbit, and she we didn't talk about a dwarf rabbit.
Yeah, dwarf rabbit.
We didn't talk about her situation. She was we saw in the first episode that she's getting bullied. She's taking care of her garden, and they throw her mattress out of her room.
Yeah,
and like some cats are talking shit. They're like, "Oh, well, blah 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 blah," and they're just like teasing her.
Yeah, they're teasing her for being kind of like a slut. Like I'm not,
but we don't know this yet.
Weren't they already calling? No,
we don't know this yet. I believe okay. They're just like teasing her or something like that, and I think they say something, but nothing very suggestive because I think what they wanted to show in that scene is how strong Haru was.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because they literally threw their mattress over her balcony of her dorm room and all their other shit on top of her flowers, and she just takes it easy. You know, she's just level headed. It's like fuck those bitches.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not till later where we have the confrontation with the other rabbit.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. I guess that's what I was confused on. Right. So there's an accident inside of the theater, and Legoshi smells blood because Louis like breaks his leg. But so like Legoshi being a wolf has such a great sense of smell that when he smells like herbivore blood, he goes feral. Like his instincts take over. And like it's his hunting instinct almost. It's a carnivore instinct. And then in the yard of the school that he's in, he spots an herbivore, which is Haru, like a rabbit. And like he almost eats her in the middle of the night, but he comes back to his senses and he's just like, no, like, what am I doing? Like, I can't be eating a student. And he just scratches the shit out of her arm and she runs away. And that's like the end of episode 1.
Yeah. And I like to point out the entity, like his carnivore entity.
Yeah.
You know, that shows up. It's like, come on. It's like, you know, you fucking want to. Just do it. With me, the first time watching this, I thought it was going to lead into like a serial killing kind of thing.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Because it feels kind of like that. Because even the next day, he looks himself in the mirror and he just sees this fucking like dark blur, you know?
Yeah.
And it gets very mental with him.
Yeah.
It's very mental with him.
He's all in his head about everything. Mm-hmm. And like, so by that point onward, it's basically just
him tripping about almost eating someone.
Yeah, that's like the plot to everything for the rest of the 12 episodes. It's just Legoshi, like, trying to decide if he would have really eaten her, or if he wants to be nice to herbivores, or he meets questionable carnivores down the road and that are more willing to break social norms and, like, either eat blood of herbivores but it's the backdrop of just being a high school theater nerd.
Yeah. So on the next episode, because they are working in this new play that is like the play of plays in this fucking school that every fucking class does at some point. And since we have Louis, super badass fucking actor, Legoshi, he gets put onto the play or something. But before that, they send them to get roses for like the frame of the play, right?
Season 2 starts off right at the end of episode 1. So Haru runs away. Legoshi goes into the theater, and that's when he finds Louis' leg broken. Mm-hmm. And that's when Louis just like, fuck it. Like, don't worry about it. Like, I'm going to work past it. And you're right. So he's part of the art department. Like, he makes the background sceneries and stuff. So he gets told, like you're saying, to go to the garden club, pick up some flowers because they're going to decorate like a door or a scene or something like that. Yeah,
they're making like those wire things that they put flowers on and it looks all crazy, almost like one of those like fucking parade cars.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So he goes with a anteater, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 'cause their dorms are very small and there's 4 guys in there. Like, there's 2 sets of bunk beds, basically, in the dorm room. And so one of his bunkmates, who's also in the theater club, is this anteater guy. And he just kind of, like, sets him up because he knows that the lone member of the garden club is the dwarf rabbit, is Haru. So he goes, and he's like, oh, I gotta... He made up an excuse to leave Legoshi and Haru alone.
I like that you mentioned this because... now we know because of the confrontation with the other rabbit that we didn't talk about. So we know the Haru slept with the boyfriend of a rabbit, but they're a certain kind of rabbit.
Yeah, like some almost extinct snow rabbit or something like that. I can't even remember.
So that girl's boyfriend cheated on her with Haru.
And Haru doesn't even care because Haru like gets laid all the time.
Yeah, Haru's like, what? It's like, it doesn't... No, she mentioned something like almost suggesting that she knows her boyfriend better than she does. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, she's like, oh, you didn't know that about him? Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, she said something like that.
Harlequin rabbit.
There you go. Oh, yeah, because she's split. They're color split.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we know now why she's getting teased at school because we know her as, quote unquote, the slut of the school.
Yeah, little bit.
You know? But very strong fucking female character because at this point where you're mentioning that he goes to the garden club, which Haru is the president of and only member of. Yeah. He sees the rabbit. Legoshi doesn't know anything about her. Mm-hmm. All he knows is that he almost fucking ate her that night.
Yeah, and then her arm's all bandaged up, and he's like, "Oh, what happened there?"
And he's on his head. He's like, "Fuck, I gotta make up something." Diarrhea is like, what do I say to get the fuck out of here? And as soon as he's about to come up with his excuse, his buddy's like, "I'm just gonna leave this guy on the sled of the school, and hopefully they bang."
He kind of did it in like a
come on, like trying to lift his spirits because he's a sad sack.
Yes. He's like, okay, like, well, if anyone's gonna put out for my sad sack friend, it's gonna be the sled of the school. So that's basically what Kibi, his name is Kibi. I guess it's pronounced Kibi, right? Kibi. He just dips out, and that's when we get this super awkward. This is the most dialogue Legosh's had, and we're like halfway through episode 2, and all of a sudden we finally start hearing his voice, and he's just awkwardly talking to a girl.
By the way, voice actors, the English, fucking good.
10 out of 10. Like, this is one of the best dubs in forever. Like,
good, bro.
The writing's not crazy. Like, the dialogue isn't too demanding. There's not a whole lot of, like, really tough, like, presented scenes. But you're right. Like, you can feel the emotion in each dub actor.
And I don't know what they do. I'm pretty sure they're fucking auto-tuning it or whatever. But the fact that they make Haru's voice sound rabbitish.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It sounds light and like hollow and like...
And it has this purr, like to the end of words.
Yes.
You know? So she's freaking like Bugs Bunny almost. Mm-hmm. You know? And I don't know. It's just fucking ridiculous, the voice work on this anime.
Whoever directed like the anime, like 10 out of 10, bro. Like, I don't know why this man doesn't produce absolutely everything.
And the voices, as we talked about the music, very soft music, very jazzy music, it's the same thing with the voice acting. Mm-hmm. Except for like maybe Louis and the altercations that happen, but everything's very like smooth sounding. You know what I'm saying? Soothing voices almost.
It feels almost like the Monogatari series. How like when there's a long dialogue scene, there's just like a light piano in the background. In the Bakemonogatari, it's really light. You know what I mean? Like when something dorkies and dumb's just happening, it's like na 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 na, and that's Bakemonogatari. But in Beastars, it's just kind of like really spaced apart, like piano notes, not even a chord. It's just like it makes you feel awkward and in the moment. Mm-hmm. And it's just so like perfect. It's just
because we know that this fucking moment is awkward as fuck for Legoshi.
Yes,
because he's in front of the rabbit that he almost ate with a bandage, and he even asked her, "Is like, what happened to you?" He's like, "Oh no, nothing, something, right?" She doesn't. Really
she doesn't own up to it. She's like, "Oh, I tripped," or I can't even remember what happened. It's like a fresh fucking giant gash on her arm.
Yeah, and he is like, "Oh shit, well, I'm here from the theater club to pick up some roses." Yeah. Oh, okay. It's like, well, I'm not gonna give you these roses for free. Can you help me move these fucking pots? Because she's fucking tiny and the pots are like her size. So like, she just grabs it like with one hand and like takes it over.
Like she's very like sure of herself and like confident, kind of. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like she, even in the back of her head, she's terrified because she's like, yo, there's this giant wolf like here with me in the garden. I am scared as fuck. But she's bossing him around. She's like, yeah, do this for me.
And she also mentions it. She's like, oh, I'm a senior. It's like, no need to be nervous, you know?
Yeah, well, I think that's not a mistranslation, but like something lost in translation.
Yes, it is definitely. Because we know that from the animes that we watch, we know that Japan is big on their schooling, you know? So they make good students seem stronger in this school theme, you know?
Right.
Like...
Well, what I was going to say is it reminded me of like I'm assuming in the sub, they probably call her like senpai or something. Like the dub makes it seem like he was talking really formally. Mm-hmm. And she was like, why are you being like that? Like, it's okay. Just like call me by my name and just chill out. Mm-hmm. And you see that a lot, but it's just something lost in translation. So he delivers the pots. He moves them to the other side of the garden. There's like a shed that like the garden club has, and for some reason it has a bed in it.
Yeah, almost like like a pool house for a gardener.
Yeah, there's a private dorm for the garden club, which is just this itty bitty little cabin with a bed in it. And I don't know why any school club would have a bed in it. Uh-huh. But so Haru gets Legoshi in the shed.
And for some reason they're talking about payments or something, or
she's like, how can I repay you, or how can I help you?
Yeah, and this is where we start realizing that Legoshi is a fucking idiot because it's always on his head. And while he's on his head, he's trying to come up with something like saying like, oh shit, I tried to eat you. Like he's trying to apologize. And like he's thinking about, fuck, it's like, is this girl right here that I tried to eat? So he's on his head, not saying anything, just looking awkward directly at this rabbit. So
she just gets naked. She just takes like...
She's like, oh, so that's what's gonna be. Like, she just gets naked.
Him not saying anything told her that he was there to have sex with her. So she just takes off her uniform. It's like a one-piece, like, jacket and skirt thing, but it's together. So she just had to pull it over her head, and she's just, like, naked. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I've never been with a wolf before. And just, like, starts taking off his pants, and he's just like, whoa, what's going on? And he's still not saying anything. He's still just in his head, just being like, what the fuck? Am I gonna get my dick sucked? What's going on right now? And then he just panics. He hits full panic mode. He's like, what? Don't do that. And then he, like, pretends it's not happening. He's just like, oh, look at the time. I gotta dip. I gotta go. And that's what it would feel like if you were a virgin and, like, some girl just came on to you that hard. You know what I mean? It would be terrifying.
And not only that, but in this fucking animal world, to fucking have also the variable of them being animals, and like you have this fucking wolf and this tiny fucking rabbit. It's at this point I have not made the mental decision of like bypassing the fact that they're animals.
Yes.
So it's very off-putting.
Yeah. And I think it's supposed to be. And the animation, every episode, it takes like maybe like a few seconds to actually get used to it. And this is one of those that like almost looks awkward on purpose because like the 3D modeling isn't as like blended in. It doesn't look as shaded in. So it looks just not right. You know what I mean? And I think that's a direct decision. And I looked up the name of the director. It's Mr. Shinichi Matsumi. So Mr. Matsumi, I presume just based on this episode that he made that decision to make it as off-putting as possible. Because I imagine the manga feels just as weird. Mm-hmm. So Legoshi dips out. He's scared. You know what I mean? He goes back to his dorm, and then we see like a cut to a scene with the anteater dude. He's like, wow, I really left Legoshi alone with that girl. I hope he's all right.
Yeah. Like he didn't know what he was doing. But, yeah, so he gets back without no flowers or anything. I don't really know how it goes from here, but we know the Haru's still getting harassed by that bunny.
Yeah, well, that's the end of episode 2, basically. Mm-hmm. Is just when, like, Legoshi is just scared and leaves. Because episode 3 starts with just that, and it's still him in his head just freaking out and leaving. And that's, like, at this point, this is where we start getting more, like, Louis scenes. Mm-hmm. Because Louis all fucked up trying to act on a broken leg. We get this really weird scene where not Legoshi, but Louis is, he feels really inadequate, like as an herbivore, which is very like a masculine downfall, which is again like proves like the progressive writing here. You know what I mean? Like the guys have real like toxic dude issues. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because Legoshi or Louis will call Legoshi into the theater room office, and he will berate him, harass him. There's this really weird, almost sexual tension where Louis like chokes Legoshi and tries to look at his teeth, and it's just like he's getting in his face, but it's an inadequacy because Louis, as an herbivore, can never be as big and strong as Legoshi, and Legoshi knows he's a ginormous carnivore and tries to like. He tries to turn his personality bitchish. Like, he lets himself get beat up on so he doesn't appear scary.
Yes. So, well, we know from the first episode when we had that black entity, it's like, you know this is not frustration. It's like, this is fucking desire. You know what I'm saying? Like, mm-hmm. You want to be the mean bad wolf, you know? But he doesn't, and we see in previous episodes where there was like cafeteria altercation where he's just trying to figure out how to lose this fight against this little fucking hyena or...
Well, two carnivores started fighting each other, but they were like smaller carnivores. So Legoshi being... He's a generally good guy. Like, drama happens, and he's just like, I'm gonna step in there because I'm the big dude in the room. So it's like my responsibility to protect everybody else.
And it looks like he's still like hopped up on this fucking blood that he's smelling. You know what I'm saying? Because it almost feels like if he was high on some like, he high, amped up.
It's like the like that old anti-drug PSA, like the Reefer Madness.
Yeah.
Like it looks like that kind of, like he's all hopped up and freaking out. And so he smells the blood and he gets between them and he gets between these two carnivores and he's like, guys, stop it. And they're like, what are you going to do about it, you pussy ass wolf? And he's just like, okay. And then he's again in his head. He's always in his head. He's in his head. He's like, okay, how am I going to lose this fight on purpose? Mm-hmm. And he's just like, okay, what if I trip? And then I fall and I let him beat up on me a little bit and then it's over and everyone goes back to normal and I'm the hero. Well, he doesn't even want to be the hero. He just wants the situation diffused. Yeah. And that's where Louis steps in. Mm-hmm. Because we already had that Louis and Legoshi scene where Louis kind of beat up on Legoshi. Mm-hmm. And after that encounter, Louis knows that Legoshi will purposely act like a bitch.
Exactly. So now we come to this altercation in the office, because now it's like this kind of like notice me senpai kind of thing, where kind of moments where
I almost choked on my drink. Jesus Christ, hold up.
We're fucking Louis is like, why are you being like this? Like, it's like almost like fucking Anakin Skywalker fucking like turn, yes, like be evil almost, like be the wolf that you are, you son of a bitch. And we don't know why he's acting like this until later.
Yeah.
You know? Right now we see Louis as a fucking manic fucking herbivore.
Yeah, and it's like Louis cannot imagine having the power of being a carnivore and not taking advantage of it. Louis, who's like the most popular kid at school, all the girls love him. He's about to be like a Beastar, like head honcho in society. He cannot fathom not being a giant 8-foot wolf and not using that to your advantage. Mm-hmm. So that's why he's so hard on Legoshi, because he's like, you could be the one thing I can't do. The one thing I can't do as a deer and be like this daunting creature, you can do it without even trying.
So he kicks out this little weasel from the play and puts Legoshi on. And again, I think he does this just because his infatuation of him acting like a bitch.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's basically like the title of episode 3 is A Wolf is Born, because it picks up right at that end. Like it ends at that fight. And this is where Louis is hard on Legoshi, and that's where it seems like we're going to get, like, this is going to be the character arc for Legoshi. It's going to be him, like, finding confidence in himself and learning not to be afraid of, like, who he is, almost. Mm-hmm. And it's just, we get, like, more backstory there on, like, a bunch of herbivores talking amongst each other. So there's that other Harlequin rabbit, the male Harlequin rabbit, is talking with his group of friends. And he's like, yo, I just hooked up with this dwarf rabbit last night. Her body's all wide, like, it's dope. Mm-hmm. And then you see his friend being like, oh, does she get up and start cleaning after you hook up with her too?
Like saying, like, Eskimo Bros.
Yeah,
almost,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah. And, like... And you see, like, the male Harlequin rabbit being like, oh, fuck, like, you too?
Yeah.
And that's, again, I already talked about this with Haru, but this is like, she doesn't care about stuff like that. She doesn't care how people see her. Mm. She's doing her own thing. That's how, like, it's not how she gains confidence, but she's so confident in herself that if she wants that dude, she can hook up with that dude. If she wants that guy, she can hook up with that guy.
Yeah, like a whole, like fuck slut shaming kind of thing. Mm-hmm, you know what I'm saying? It's like who cares?
Yeah, like she has owned it. You know what I mean? She's like, who gives a shit? Like,
yeah, exactly.
And I think she tells that to the female Harlequin rabbit at that point, or that's how it implies with her conversations with her, because it's like, yo, like, it's not my fault that your boyfriend likes me more than you. Mm-hmm. Like, that sounds like a you problem more than a me problem at that point, which is kind of like true almost. You know what I mean? Like, because the female Harlequin rabbit is only with her boyfriend for, like, superficial reasons. Like, she feel like she has to be with a Harlequin rabbit.
Almost like the Amy Adams character in Mean Girls with her boyfriend. She's just all weird.
Yeah. Like, it's like a social status.
Yeah.
It's not even about, like, dating the guy or anything like that.
Yeah, it's because about the extinction thing.
Yeah. But, Louis is probably almost in, like, in the first half of this season, Louis is probably the most prominent character, more than even Legoshi or Haru. Because the rest of episode 3 is like us going to theater practice for the play opening that's going to happen, and Louis still on a bum broken leg, just pushing through it. Like, he's calling everybody else a bitch, basically. He's like, yo, I am working my ass off
to save this fucking play. I thought I was working with experts. He's just having the theater boy moment, you know what I'm saying?
But, like, it almost feels deserving. Like, he's acting his ass off.
On a broken leg.
And he's like, and you can't get your fucking lines right? That is bullshit. And it's dope. It's so dope. Because, like, they do the initial performance, and, like, we don't see much of it, but, like, it's that big, like, Shakespearean acting almost.
So, you know what I learned not so long ago? You know why when you go do an audition, they tell you go break a leg?
Why?
So you can get casted.
Oh! I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
Well, Louis was casted, but he never got casted.
Yeah.
So he does his bomb-ass performance, blows out of the water, the whole school loves him, and he passes out.
Oh, and like the big deal about this play for him is because the role that he's playing is of a powerful carnivore, you know, that saves this herbivore, I think, right?
Yeah, and he's a Shinigami. He's like a god of death. You know what I mean? So it feels like like a Greek play. Like I know there's a Greek story about like a dude that goes into Hades' lair to like. It's the story of the river Styx.
Okay,
He goes to get, like, his dead wife from the underworld.
Yeah.
He gets trapped there himself, kind of.
Yeah. I think so. Like Dante's Inferno, almost?
Almost, but Greek. That's more like classic Roman.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm trying to act smart about it, but I don't know what the fuck it's called.
It's good.
But that's like the plot to this play, right? So, like, you're saying he's undead, carnivore, death god. He's saving this woman from the underworld. He blows his performance out of the water and he just passes out. Like, from pain, he's just like, that's it. Like,
And we know that they're going to have 2 showings this weekend. So the weekend, the one that he passes out at the end, and then the Saturday one, which we, like, the teacher is like, oh, well, you fucking broke your leg. It's like, what do you want us to do?
Yeah, like, Louis wakes up in a hospital bed and he's like, okay, how am I going to get back on stage? And the teacher's just like, no, dude, like, professionally as a teacher, like, I can't put you on that stage. Like, your life is at risk. Your leg is fucked up. So that's where we get like another shift in casting.
Yeah.
Because we get this
Tony the Tiger?
Yeah, we get this douchey tiger who's now playing the lead. Yeah. And he's just being a dick to everybody. He's like, I know all the lines. I studied under Louis. I'm going to be the next Beastar because Louis is going to be the Beastar and everyone's going to love me.
And then again, like, just like the anteater situation where he's just trying to get his boy laid. Again, another like almost... What Hollywood wants you to think like fraternity behavior is like, as far as like, oh, I'm gonna try to get my boy like kind of like very frat boyish attitude about it, and like we see this in this tiger, and like I mentioned before, like how Legoshi was hopped up like on the smell of blood. We see this tiger.
His name is Bill.
Bill use blood like cocaine for like performance enhancement.
Yeah.
You know?
Like he's got like a vial of like herbivore blood that he, I don't know, takes a bump of whenever he needs to get excited enough for his role on stage. And Legoshi, having started to gain like romantic feelings for an herbivore, takes like personal offense to that. Like, Legoshi gets mad because he's a wolf. He has a good sense of smell, and he smells the blood right away on Bill. And he's like, what the fuck is that? And he follows him to the bathroom and, like, almost jumps him about it. And he's like, bro, why do you have herbivore blood with you?
And we know that the rabbit sold it to him.
Is that right?
I think so.
No.
Yeah. It's like, I got it from this bunny girl, blah, blah, blah. He
Is that what he said?
Yeah, and that's why he gets so fucking pressed, because he knows the smell.
Oh, I didn't think of that at all.
I think that's what happens, bro. And that's why he gets so pissed, because he's like, he starts fucking smelling. He's like, what the fuck? Is like, where is she? Or like, he's like, fucking like...
It's not in societal norms because like, carnivores are supposed to like go strictly against their animal instincts because like for you to be a normal society, herbivores need to feel safe, right? So you even partaking in herbivore blood like this is kind of like a sin to the society almost. And they do the performance, and Legoshi is now part of the play since Bill's like villain character is no longer cast if Bill's playing the lead. So it's the end of the play. Legoshi just goes up on stage and just beats the fuck out of Bill in front of everybody. The whole theater is packed, and they're just like, "Yo, is this real? Like, is this part of the script?"
Because they try to make it work like with a play. Almost. Yeah. So they're beating the shit out of each other in a play, like to make it think that other students don't think that they're beating the shit out of each other.
Right. So Legoshi, like, he sucker punches Bill almost. Like, he just runs on stage and just like socks him in the face, gives him a big black eye. The vial of blood falls out next to the curtain, and Louie's there in crutches, and he's able to like see the vial of blood, and he picks it up. And so Legoshi's just pounding on Bill, and at a certain point, like, Bill's, as the lead, doesn't want to fuck up like his premiere on stage, so he turns Legoshi around. Like, Bill's back is now to the audience, and Legoshi's in front of him towards the curtain, and he just scratches him up like he's a tiger. He's got these giant clawed hands.
That's right. That's how he got his scars. I completely forgot. Like
Legoshi's gonna pass out from pain because his whole back has just been scarred up, and Louis, being like one of the only people that really knows what's going on, jumps on stage in his crutches. And he
not in his crutches. He just goes in, I think.
Yeah. Right. And so they're still just rolling with it. Like, so Louis there is just like, "Oh, you were the fake protagonist. I'm the real protagonist, and I'm back here."
Yeah.
And he just like shoos,
and everybody goes crazy. Everybody's like, "Louis, oh shit!"
Yeah, and everyone loved it. And at that point, like, there's no payoff there. There's not an emotional payoff yet because like we haven't. Like, this is the introduction to the Legoshi arc about him coming to terms with respecting herbivores almost. Like, he sees himself as like a protector of smaller animals at a certain point. And this is the beginning of that. Because the very next episode, Louis is going to kick both of these two out of theater club. He's like, "Yo, you guys were embarrassing AF. Like, get out of my club before, like, I get both of you arrested. I have the rabbit blood with me. I can put both of you away." But the local newspaper shows up, like
not even like the journalist club.
Yeah. Like, the paparazzis of the school show up, and they were like, "Louis, last night was so great. I can't believe you guys switched up the script between nights 1 and 2. And Louis, because he's always like trying to save face because he's going to be a Beastar.
Like, forget what I said. It's like, shut the fuck up, roll with it. It's like, don't say fucking anything.
Yeah, don't embarrass me. Yeah. Like, just roll with it. They liked it, and that's like the only reason they stay in theater club, because they got some good press out of it, and then they, like, you were making fun of that they just rolled with it, but the audience believed it. And they're like the saviors of the fucking school, and they fucked each other up.
And I love how they put like theater club like in a pedestal, like, you spilled blood on the theater floor. Who the fuck do you think you are? You know what I'm saying? Like, whoa.
Like, who cares?
But
and I was a theater nerd. Like, for real, who cares?
Again, I would love to see that kind of academic system over here where kids are willingly to go spend some free time in a club they're interested in school.
I was a theater kid.
Well, yeah, but that was during school hours.
I was, no, after school, bro.
Oh, after school? Okay.
I was Legoshi, bro. I did tech.
You're just like depressed.
I played, just depressed in the background, playing the music and like waiting for like my cues on stage. I did.
You didn't seem to find your cues last episode.
Anyways, what are we talking about?
We're talking about they got great press, so they're still on
hold
theater
on.
club.
But there was also bad press, because remember, Legoshi's hiding from everybody. Because it's lunchtime and he's like in the empty pool by himself because he doesn't want people asking him about the performance.
Oh, yeah.
So his little dog best friend, like, is bringing him lunch, and it's like it's
egg sandwiches.
Huh?
Egg salad sandwiches.
Yeah, egg salad sandwiches, but it's so like depressing because is it Collet, an old English sleep dog? Yeah. Collet. Collot. Call It. Okay, so Call It is the sheepdog who's Legoshi's best friend. And we
Golden Retriever, right?
The wiki says sheepdog. I have no idea.
Okay.
But that's where we get that dialogue in his head where he's like, yo, I know Legoshi's always been a sad sack, but he seems like extra sad right now.
Like he's depressed.
Yeah, like I don't even know what to do with him right now.
Yeah, he's not regular depressed.
He's
Legoshi.
He's extra depressed Legoshi right now.
We know these people.
And Legoshi's just like embarrassed. Like he hates being known for anything. He hates spotlight.
Like he's been trying to lay low for a long time.
Yeah, like he just wants to blend in the background and graduate. Like he cares so little about everything else. And at this point, we start getting into episodes where the kids are going to go out of town for something. I can't even remember what it was, but that's where we learn about like the black market.
Yeah. Yes.
How did we get there?
So we have the altercation with Bill, Legoshi, and then Louis intervening and being like, they're gonna have a school trip to town, but in town, because outside of school, obviously carnivores have to get their meat fix. So a way to safely do it without any murders in this world is a black market that exists where it's almost like a food alley.
Yeah. You know? So the rest of the anime is about the Meteor Festival, which is like a spring Japanese-ish, like coming to season kind of festival, right? And so the guys are going to go into the town to gain information for the Meteor Festival as like the art department for the theater, and they're going to build like fixtures and stuff. So they have to go like do reconnaissance, and they're going to go into town. Even Legoshi mentions like, yo, I haven't been off campus in forever. I forgot it's like this. And he looks around, and it's again one of those, it's like Zootopia moments where he's like, wow, all the adults are getting along. All the carnivores and the herbivores are getting around great. I don't know why this is going on. And that's where we get what you're talking about, where there's a black market, because all his friends that he went to town with were carnivores. It's like it's like an eagle, Bill the tiger,
all carnivores, and they get lost because they're looking for the black market, right? And they see this old blind beggar almost character.
It's so gross.
It's so off-putting because he's like, in this, like I said, you can't put this in a story where these characters are humans because it wouldn't make sense.
Right.
So you have this old blind beggar and he's like, what's it gonna be? It's like, I only got some left, and puts up his arms, and he has like missing fingers. Right. And he has like a tag on each finger.
Yeah, with a price tag. So he's only got like half his fingers, but we see it through like a haze, because we see it through Legoshi's sense of smell. Because they get lost what you're talking about. And then all of a sudden, like Legoshi like smells something delicious. Like his carnivore instinct takes over, and that's where we meet up with the beggar. And all you see is Legoshi like having these like haze coming out of these like bleeding, pus-gapped fingers.
Because Legoshi doesn't know what this beggar is talking about.
Yeah.
Like, the beggar is so used to this treatment.
Yeah.
That he's just nonchalant. It's like a sex worker in the street. Like, hey, what's it gonna be? You know what I'm saying?
The homeless guy seems like what would be like an addict or something. Like, just like doing anything for money to get his next fix. Because like, how are you gonna sell a finger for like 40,000 yen? That's $400. You know what I mean? You're gonna sell a finger for $400.
So he puts up his hands, and Legoshi, being shocked, is like, whoa, I don't want to eat your finger. But then the other dudes are like, yo, bro, it's like, if we put some money together, we can have one finger.
Yeah, they're just like, if we pull our money, we could all get the one finger.
Yeah, and it's like, whoa, it's like almost cracky feeling.
Yeah, it's really gross. And that's when Legoshi's like, y'all suck, like, this is gross.
And then the bus moves, and black market is right across the street.
Yeah, Legoshi just starts running, and all of a sudden he's just in the middle of the black market, and he has all these smells around him, and he's just like, I'm just gonna keep running, keep my head low, close my eyes, and just run. And then he's
almost having like a withdrawal symptoms of not having meat. Almost.
Yeah. And like, he gets to the end of the black market, and some guys are like, yo, meet us in this alley. Or I can't even remember how it happened. They like almost jumped him.
Yeah, they tricked him into an alley, and they're like, haha, oh, because he's looking for something.
I can't even remember what he was looking for.
And he kept saying a name, right? Oh, no, that was after. But he was looking for something. I think...
Oh, he passes out. And then Yeah. So that's a different part. Because this part, he just passes out from, like, smelling all the things, and he's just picked up by, like, a panda. And that's where he wakes up in this panda's apartment. He's, like, he's being muzzled. Interrogated. Yeah, he's muzzled and, like, tied to a pole, is being interrogated. And the panda's just like, yo, like, you're a young carnivore. What are you even doing here? And the panda, like, interrogates him. He's, like, a psychiatrist of sorts. Like, he's trying to give him, like, therapy on meat addiction. And
it's funny that we talked about, I know you haven't seen this movie, but Basketball Diaries with Leonardo DiCaprio, an old movie, you see a character like this one too, a non-familiar person that it's gonna help this addict through his fucking shit.
He's like his AA sponsor.
Almost, yeah. And it's funny how they pick the animal for this for their character development, because we know that pandas, I mean, they can kill you. You know, it's a bear. It's a bear, but it's a herbivore bear.
They're omnivores.
Oh yeah,
Pandas will eat meat. They'll eat fish and stuff.
But like they'll eat bamboo. They can live with bamboo. So we see that this almost sponsored character is like, oh, I'm good on bamboo. It's like, you want some bamboo tea? He's like, oh fuck, this shit's fucking gross, you know? It's like, so yeah, he's kind of helping Legoshi through. He's like, dude, it's like, don't fuck around with the bunny, because he starts telling him about Haru. It's like, what are you doing, bro? It's like, you're gonna fucking eat her.
Yeah. Don't tempt yourself, you weirdo.
Yeah.
Well, that's where we get like a scene, because like he's describing his line of work, and he's like, yeah, I help convert like carnivores and this and that, and you hear Legoshi just not believing it. He's like, I don't need help. I don't need therapy. And he's like, why don't you try to like therapize me or something like that? And you see the panda just being like, what do you think we've been doing? Just sitting here and drinking herbal tea. Like, that's what we've been doing for the past half hour. And Legoshi didn't even realize it. And the panda has an idea.
He's trying to explain that it could be just a fetish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he hands Legoshi like a pornographic magazine that's just rabbit porn. And he's just like, yo, if you get off to this, then maybe you're just into rabbits or whatever. Or if you don't, like, then you just do want to eat
the fuck out of this bunny.
Yeah, this is just like your prey.
Ass first, yeah.
And that's like the end of that scene, because like Legoshi dips out and it's super weird and awkward, and he goes back to his dorm like nothing happened. But his eagle friend is at the bus stop, the subway station waiting for him.
Yeah, so it's late at night. Legoshi's trying to catch, I guess, the last train to their fucking school.
Yeah,
but the eagle friend is waiting there for him, and he was like, "Hey man, sorry we made you feel that way. I couldn't
go through with it. Just so you know, I'm not a piece of shit, dude. Yeah. We can still be friends. Like, I'm not weird.
I didn't eat that blind dude's finger, bro. Like, I swear I didn't.
I didn't eat that drug addict's finger. I swear to God. Like, please don't hate me.
Yeah, man.
And that's like the end of that episode, because from that point on, it's them getting ready for the Meteor Festival. And that's where, around this time, this is where we also get introduced to Juno, she's a freshman. No. Japanese high school is only 3 years. So she's a first year in high school, which would make her like an American sophomore.
Well, yeah.
Right? Yeah. So, and she's getting bullied for being a carnivore on campus, right? Because there's been a bunch of like eatings and killings, like the alpaca in episode 1. So all the carnivores are having like a really hard time because people are bullying them. So this female freshman is getting like beat the fuck up almost, and Legoshi the pacifist just like gets between there, and he's like, hey guys, like, I know I'm big and scary, but this is my sister, like, please don't beat her up. And they're like, y'all don't even look the same, that's bullshit. And that's Juno's important because she instantly like falls in love with Legoshi right there.
And it's almost like they have to love each other.
Yeah, it's like the Harlequin rabbits just being like, oh, we're the same species, we gotta fall in love now.
And we're strong wolves, is like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, we get introduced to her, very unknown character.
Well, it's a depressing moment because she's crying and she'll ask Legoshi, like, is this really how it is? Is this how it's going to be? And he's like, yeah, basically, like, you just got to get used to it. Like, people are going to bully you for being a carnivore. And that makes her more sad because she's talking to this depressed ass guy about, like, how do I deal with these things? He's like, you kind of just don't.
Yeah. I just be sad about it.
Yeah, you just internalize it and feel bad about it. And she's
bottle
like,
it up until you go crazy.
And she's like, this is what it's going to be like for 3 years. This is awful. But she's important because she's part of the theater club too. She's part of the like acting troupe. And Legoshi is in the theater club, but he's the Tex. Mm-hmm. And like she's automatically like into him and like will like look out for him during practice, and he doesn't even notice her.
Yeah.
And she doesn't get that. She's like, yo, like, we're the same species.
Like, notice me, senpai.
Yeah. Honestly, she's the worst when it comes to, like, the notice me, like, senpai shit. Like, she will act up in class and, like, she's implied to be cute. Like, it's a modeled wolf. I don't know. Yeah, but, okay. like, the model has long eyelashes and shit. So I guess you're supposed to assume it's a cute wolf, right?
Yeah. So
all the rest of the guys in the theater group will be like, yo, did you see that female wolf? She's so cute. She's a freshman, blah, 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 blah. And she'll just walk through the crowd and start talking to Legoshi, and they'll all be talking shit like, oh, fuck, she likes Legoshi. Uh-huh. That's so weird. And Legoshi's just all nonchalant about it. He's just like, just answering her questions at face value. He doesn't even like recognize her like that.
Yeah. It's so fucking crazy. It almost reminds me of a South Park episode, but we'll talk about that.
A South Park episode?
Yeah.
Which one?
Where the other black girl joins the school, and then Carmen, he's with Token, like, oh, that's so cool, Token. Oh my god, I'm so happy for you. This is that.
It's like that fake progressive, like,
yeah.
Like, I'm so happy for these two wolf couple people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's fucking weird. And is this where we get to the weird chicken segment?
Yeah, episode 7, Below the Fur Coat. Yeah, so for some reason we get a whole episode dedicated to a chicken classmate of Legoshi's that sits next to him. He doesn't even know her name. He's never like recognized her in his life. But every Thursday he's eating a egg sandwich.
Every Wednesday, I think.
Every Wednesday.
Yeah. So like a friend of his during class in this auditorium, his Legoshi is between the hand and his buddy, right?
Yeah.
And then his buddy's like, oh, you really like those egg sandwiches. And then he says out loud, it's like, oh man, it's because on Wednesday there's something really good about it. And then we start getting some dialogue off this hand on the side. He's like, oh, this fucking sad sack piece of shit. Talking shit, but he's like, but I know his secret. Like, I know why he likes those egg sandwiches.
Because those are my eggs.
Because those are my eggs, yeah.
It's just super creepy, because, like, at this point, you would almost think, like, the diet of everyone in the society is, like, vegan. Like, it wouldn't even be, like, meatish products like eggs or cheese. But this is the one where it's, like, it's vegetarianism and not... And because they can still eat eggs and stuff, I guess.
And because this, like... animal theme to the story, like a trope for it will be the cafeteria, because they'll have like a vegetarian side and like some almost fake meat or like low level meats or proteins like eggs, and shit like that. You know?
And that's how everyone gets their balanced diet in this society. So this hen is like super about making her eggs. Like, she exercises every day just so she can have healthy eggs. She eats right.
Good. Yeah.
She gets enough sleep. Like, her friends will invite her out and she'll be like, nah, I gotta go to sleep so that my eggs are healthy. So that's why you see her jogging every day, because she's trying to stay healthy. And she's super proud of the quality of her eggs. Like, she's like a high school student, but she's proud of this part-time job. And her friends will even be like, why do you care about this part-time job like that? And it's one of those, like...
Go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Like, you just have to be super proud in your work, like, no matter what it is, kind of things.
And the entire episode, it's focused on her.
The first half.
Oh, the first half? Oh, that's
the first
right.
half.
Yeah, the first half.
Well, I only know that because I looked at the wiki, but...
The first half, and one day, in class... we see the Legoshi's getting a snack, but he has a special dog, you know?
Yeah, it's not her egg sandwich, and she's, like, super offended, and she's like, what the fuck? Like, I haven't been sleeping enough? What is going on?
But she's in her head. Mm-hmm. Like, she's not saying any of this. Like, she's in her head, she's like, what the fuck? She's like, what, my eggs? And she starts having, like, this meltdown over her eggs, you know?
Yeah, so then she hears Legoshi talking to, like, his friend... And he's just, oh, I don't know what happened, but the eggs no longer taste that good on Wednesdays. So the hen, like, all sad the rest of the day, just, like, goes to deliver her eggs. And she's like, yo, she was going to talk to her boss. She was like, yo, I'm sorry that it's not been up to quality. But her boss interrupts her and she's like, hey, like, your eggs have been so good and so popular that we moved them to our busiest day on Friday.
Yeah.
And
she's like, oh, shit.
Yeah. So the end of the first half of this episode is she sneaks, like, the Friday egg sandwich into Legoshi's bag.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's a cool side story. Like, it's dope.
Yeah, absolutely. And it almost reminds me very, like, Space Dandy-ish almost trip to the side.
Yes. And like, I like it because it's like, who knew I needed that?
Exactly.
Who knew I could have taken something away from that?
And me and my girlfriend are watching this and we're like, what was that? I was like, I don't know, but it was cool.
It just adds to, like, the scenery. You know what I mean? Like, not everyone's a nameless character. Everybody has their own motivations, even if we don't see them.
It's telling you you're in this fucking animal world.
Yeah.
And we're going to make you live through this animal world besides Legoshi and
it's very immersive.
Yeah.
It's very immersive because, like, Legoshi is still a sad sack, but, like, he's starting to get, like, a little happy when he thinks about Haru. So the second half of this episode 7, is he's just thinking about Haru and he's like, you know what, I'm going to go to the garden. I'm just going to go hang out with her. And that's where we start getting the relationship between Louis and Haru. Because then we get, like, their whole backstory. And when Louis was a freshman, he's a deer, so his antlers just fall off during a season, right?
Yeah, shedding.
Yeah, shedding. So he's just, like, bleeding from his scalp one day and his antlers fell off and he doesn't know what to do. So he just goes to the garden thinking no one's going to be there. And Haru's there and she's like, oh, I'll take care of you. And that's when they start hooking up. Like, they kind of, like, even though Haru's been with a few dudes and continues being with a bunch of dudes, she mainly goes back to Louis.
And she really likes Louis because of his demeanor. You know?
She likes the aspects that people don't get to see, because Louis is famous for being very suave and well-spoken. He's strong. He talks with his head up, but she sees, like, his insecurities, his awkwardness, like, and that's, like, the metaphor of, like, seeing somebody undressed or in a sexual situation. Like, you see them vulnerable. Yes. Yeah. And that's what she likes most about him.
Intimacy.
Yeah. It's like, I think I just described intimacy. So they're hooking up because it's what they do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Legoshi just, like, rolls up to the garden shed and just knocks
on Haru and gets the fuck out.
Well, no. They're hooking up. Louis and Haru are hooking up. Legoshi pulls up. And he just knocks on the door and he's just, and Louis opens the door and he's just like, why are you here? And Legoshi's just like, I was hoping Haru was around. Is she here? And again, Louis cannot stand Legoshi because
he acts like a bitch.
Because he acts like a bitch. So in Louis' head, we get so much internal dialogue with all these characters. Mm-hmm. So in Louis' head, he's just like, yo, is this wolf really, like, into this rabbit right now? Is that,
or, like, why is he here? Yeah, it's like, there should be another reason why she's, and Louis knows about Haru's promiscuous ways.
Yeah.
You know?
And he doesn't care. And again, I think that's progressive writing in itself, because it's like, he doesn't care about, like, hearsay and reputations. It's like, that doesn't hurt his masculinity, having to think about, like, the chick that he spends his most time with, what her reputation or what that would make people think of him.
Well, we know that Haru and Louis had this moment where Haru was like, oh, I really like you. And then he's like, oh, well, I already have an arranged thing with this other deer.
Yeah, because he's from, like, a rich family, you know what I mean? Like, he's probably going to be, like, not a trophy husband, but I guess just an arranged marriage. Yeah.
And, not like an arranged marriage as, like, you're going to learn to love them fucking thing, but, like,
you're going to be somebody with your own class.
Yeah.
Your own class in society, maybe not your school class.
Yeah.
So, Louis dips, because he feels the awkwardness and he dips, and Legoshi just follows him. Like, super awkward, just follows him. He's like, so what's up with you and Haru? What's going on with this?
He starts smelling him. He's like,
yes! And he's just like, why you smell like Haru right now? And it's just, and again, that's progressive writing, because it doesn't turn off Legoshi either. He's just like, he sees it as, like, not even competition, which
it's
is
like, he was there first, kind of.
Yeah, like he's
Yeah.
like, if you like Haru and you were there first, then what am I going to do about it kind of thing.
Exactly. It's like, oh shit. Like, he was about to shoot his shot, but then this whole...
They're both respecting...
the boundaries, I guess.
Yeah, Haru's boundaries almost. Like, they respect Haru as a person enough that they can be like, she's not property. Like, you can't, like, be tossing her between...
If she wants to be with him, then she's
with
him.
Yeah, like, it's whatever she wants. Which, again, is like... It seems really basic when you're describing it. It's like super, like... entry-level feminism, but we don't see that in a lot of writing, not even like in Japanese writing. Like a lot of like modern American TV show writing doesn't even have super progressive like themes like that.
And I feel like the word feminism has been thrown in the internet so much and with like a negative sense to it, but we're talking about feminism as far as like what a woman should be empowered to.
No, yeah, it's
I'm saying?
Like
we're not talking about the feminism like, oh, fuck all men, blah, blah, that kind of feminism.
Like, not toxic cancel culture of Twitter. This is like, if I were to try to describe the feminism in Beastars, it is being confident in yourself enough as a woman to the point that you don't demean yourself to the patriarchal culture, and that gives you power over those stigmas. And I think that's like a really... like modern 2021 definition of feminism, you know what I mean? And it's great, it's perfect. Like, you know, like go Haru, like that's dope, good for you. Like go,
no sweat off her fucking.
Yeah, she don't give a shit. Like she gets hers no matter what. Like,
and fucking Legoshi asked him, is like, what is your relationship with Haru? It's like, well, what did she tell you? She told me you were friends. So I was like, well, that's that. He wasn't even trying to be like, fucking like.
Yeah, not even he's just like, no. Like, if she says we're friends, we're friends.
Yeah.
And that becomes like, it's not a competition or a theme, but like, we get this sort of
triangle-ish.
Yeah, we get this sort of like really shallow love triangle for the rest of the anime, because the subsequent episodes are like, all the clubs are billing the Meteor Festival in town, and Legoshi just thinks about Haru all the time. You know what I mean? And even his friends will be like, yo, why are you happy all of a sudden? And he just gets caught like with his tail wagging and smiling to himself when he's just in his head thinking about Haru. And
he asked her to lunch, right?
I don't even remember how that happened. Like, no, she was getting bullied. She was getting bullied because she was in a hallway. There were some flowers that needed to be watered. And then the girls showed up with the Harlequin rabbit and pushed her against the floor and pushed like the pot down and knocked the flowers down. And Haru immediately is like sad for the flowers because she's like, oh, I just want to save these dying flowers. And like Legoshi being all big as fuck.
Yeah, that's right. Because at this point, we almost see Haru like not keeping her cool because she's like, I'm so tired of this bitch, and she starts blowing up on the fucking bunny, like a fucking like 3 foot taller bunny.
Yeah,
and she's just talking shit, and then they seem scared, but we know because fucking Legoshi's right behind them.
Yeah, man, Legoshi likes to use his size like that, like to protect people that like he thinks needs their help. So they get scared and run away, and Legoshi just gets down on his hands and knees and starts helping her clean up. And that's where Haru like. She's confused by Legoshi because in the forefront of her mind, when she thinks of Legoshi, is just like, wow, I tried to like unzip his pants and like...
I tried to fuck this dude.
Yeah, I tried to fuck him on our first meeting and now it's super awkward and weird. But Legoshi doesn't even see it like that. Like he just wants to know more about her, and Haru more wants to know like what his intentions are.
Yeah, because she doesn't know if he wants to eat her or, you know.
Fuck her.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
She's down for either, but whatever. Like, just let me know.
Yeah.
And so they go to lunch. And Haru's terrified the whole time because, like, every time he opens his mouth and she sees his big ass, like, wolf jaws, she's like, oh my god, that is gonna eat me. Yeah. I am terrified. And in Legoshi's head, he feels awkward because he doesn't know what to say. Yeah. He's like, I've been thinking about this girl nonstop, and, like, now that I'm in front of her, I can't even...
Not saying anything. Yeah, she gets shut down.
He doesn't even know her name. And he doesn't have the balls to ask her name because he's just like...
Almost fucked her.
Yeah.
And ate her.
And he doesn't know what to think anymore.
And I really like the animation style in this episode. Specifically in the lunch date scene, because I don't know, it's just like Haru just being scared, him just being in his head. I don't know, the animation is just so nice, and just in the little lunch date they had.
Yep. and they like Haru tries to make an excuse to leave. Like, she's so scared that she's just like, you know what, I'm gonna go back to the dorm, but she does invite Legoshi like to walk her home, and I don't even remember how, but it gets like super intimate out of nowhere because he ties her shoe buckle.
Yeah, her shoe buckle wasn't like strapping right, and he gets down, and this is where we start seeing the eye contact.
Yes.
So Legoshi got down to help her strap her little shoelace and her shoe buckle, and he meets eye with this girl that he's being infatuated with, and not only like infatuation thoughts, but like also guilt thoughts. Like, he almost hated her, so he's also trying to apologize for that.
Her arm is scarred because like he cut her because he gave into his animal instincts.
Yeah, so not only is this guy like infatuated with her, he's also in his head about the guilt that he feels, and he's trying to make up an apology for her, but he can't. We see this throughout the whole fucking thing. He's like, he can't do it.
Yeah.
You know? And he makes eye contact with her, and it is not even mentioned or anything. Well, he does mention as like, I would love to make eye contact with you like this all the time, every day, or something like that.
Every time he talks to her now, he gets down on a knee so that he can be at eye level.
Yeah.
And that's an important point. If you see a lot of like, even when I'm just like tweeting things on our Twitter, like I'll look up the GIFs, like on the Twitter GIF app, right? Like a lot of like, the fan made gifs about like Beastars are him on his knees so that he can be at eye level with her.
Because again, to her character arc, or her arc in character, or her character development, like, we know that she doesn't like being looked down upon.
Yes,
you know,
exactly, like 1,000%. And this is like him coming down to her level, and he always looks up to her, like when he's like this, because he gets down low enough. He's got like terrible back posture.
Yeah. So he's always the entire time, which makes him look very menacing. I love it though.
But I knew people in high school like that, like just dudes that were just tall and big as fuck, and were just always hunched over. And that's how Legoshi like walks and stands, and that makes him like really relatable, because I've met people like that. You know what I mean? And they're like friends there. That's where like Haru's like, you know what? Like, I'm totally gonna be friends with this wolf from here on out. Like, and it gets a lot more comfortable. It feels safe. Like, the music send off there is like a really light piano. It's really soft and comforting, and that's where we hope like their relationship's gonna stay and end up. You know what I mean? Because we've been building up to them having any kind of real interaction. This is that first instance. We're in like the end of episode like 8. You know what I mean?
12 episodes, by the way.
12 episodes. We're like 2/3 through the show, and this is our first instance of them having like a real face-to-face and understanding each other on a certain level. And at that point, they both of them keep going to the Meteor Festival to set up for their independent clubs, and Legoshi gets scared for her because she's by herself in the garden club, and like bad things can happen. Like, there's a scene where he's working on his like paper mache float for the Meteor Festival, and the lights go out, and like the town and the news knows that like when the lights go out, that's when like herbivores get scooped up. So immediately he starts looking for Haru. He's like, where the fuck is she? Where is she? She's by herself. I gotta protect her. And so he helps round up like the rest of the herbivores in his group around the carnivores. Like, so it's Bill, that eagle dude, and they just all surround the herbivores to protect them. And Legoshi just dips out. He's like, yo, I gotta go. Like, I gotta figure out what's going on. And he finds Haru, and Haru like sees him, but her knee-jerk reaction is like, oh, Louis, you came for me. And Legoshi's just like, I'm not Louis.
Yeah, man. Fucking terrifying. Like, you know, not heartbreaking, but like, fuck, like devastating. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you care so much for this girl, but you know where her heart is at.
He doesn't let it faze him, though.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, she's just like, she feels bad. She's like, oh, fuck, my bad, Legoshi. Like, I didn't mean to. And he's just like, nah, don't worry about it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you don't like me,
I did it to save you. I didn't do it for anything else.
Yeah. Like, I don't need your thanks. I didn't expect you to be thinking about me anyways. Like, I was just thinking about you and wanted you to be safe. And this is a lead up to like the main like villains in this season, which would be
the Yakuza.
Yeah.
Goddamn Yakuza.
We get a Yakuza group who, okay, so that happens. And then a couple days later, they're back setting up for the Meteor Festival, and some lions just showed up and they steal Haru. and Legoshi finds her soul shoe. And I'm not even sure if it was Legoshi who found it, but somebody found it. The mayor is a lion, which again is just like Zootopia. But he has these super weird, awkward teeth because
herbivore teeth.
Yeah, he got his whole teeth like filed down so that he no longer scares herbivores. So it just looks like this weird Hollywood fake veneer smile. And right away when he sees the calling card of this Yakuza group, he tells everybody like, nah, like we can't go over it. Like this is too much drama for my mayorship. Like,
yeah, and now we start seeing a little bit more development, I think, in this past few episodes of Louis, and we know that there's a stigma about him becoming a Beastar because he's an herbivore.
Right.
And most carnivores are mad. It's like, how can a fucking herbivore take a place of a fucking Beastar? And the Beastar, it's almost like a political role.
Yeah. So,
it's like, if you're gonna be Beastar, you might be Mr. President someday.
Yeah, like you could be the mayor like me one day if you're the Beastar. And that's where the mayor basically tells Louis, just like, don't worry about it. Don't ask questions. Like, she's gone. What, I can't do anything about the Shishigumi because they're like, it would make too much drama and like political news for me. And the minute that like Legoshi hears about that, he's like, fuck that. Like he beats the shit out of Louis. He's like, you're a bitch. She loves you and you're not gonna go fucking get her. Like, watch me. I'll go do it by my damn self. And he does. He goes through the black... He doesn't know where to start. So he goes through the black market and just starts asking everybody, like, yo, do you know the Shishigumi?
Do you know this drug lord?
Yeah. Do you know this mob that's, like, famous for eating and killing people? Do you know where I can find them? And he's a 17-year-old. Like, he's a kid, you know what I mean? And imagine just going to, like, the super illegal part of town and just asking everybody around, like, yo, where can I find these mobsters?
And just out of nowhere, it turns into, like, John Wick fucking movie. Where he
hold on. That's where he almost gets jumped.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that part we were talking about. So, like, he asks some random carnivores, like, yo, do you know the Shishigumi? And they're like, yeah, we know where the Shishigumi's at. And they take him down an alley. And they're like, give me your wallet.
As if you're gonna go die, at least let me rob your ass.
Yeah. And that's where Panda comes back, because Panda's got this crossbow and he almost shoots like the two predators that were coming after Legoshi. And Legoshi explains to him what's going on. And Panda's just such a good dude. He's like, you know what? We're just me and you. We're just gonna go break into this Yakuza stronghold, and we're gonna go get your bunny friend back. And that's what they do. You're right. It turns into John Wick. It's just like. They know the location, they know the enemy, and they're
running
like,
through this fucking castle.
Shishigumi's a mob made of 32 lions, and they're giant fucking carnivores. So, but they just go. They just start like just punching everybody in the face, just crossbowing everybody,
biting
people, and what Legoshi uses to his advantage is some of them have the scent of Haru on them.
Still. Oh, and then it gets weird in this moment. Because we know that Haru got captured by this lion mob. And they're, like, inspecting her and making her good meat.
Yeah.
Right?
They make her take a bath in a bunch of vegetables.
Yeah, like this milk bath with flowers. And like, this guy gets very weird with it.
Like, they're preparing their meat. Like,
So they have her naked, and there's some weird shots, man.
Yeah.
There's some weird shots, off-putting shots. This is where it brought me back to, like, oh shit, they're animals and they're acting like this.
Yeah. It's super weird and freaky because, like, so Panda and Legoshi are making their way up, and they're beating the shit out of all these lions. But at the same moment, Haru is upstairs naked, like being grabbed on by like the lead lion, and he's like lifting her tail up, so her like she's bent over and like her ass
looking
is
down Main Street.
And he's just like staring at her ass by like lifting her up, and he's just like, yeah, this is how I scare you to get the juices flowing to make sure that your meat's healthy. And we get this whole episode that's like she's writing a will in her own head.
Oh yeah.
And it's scary because she's writing it and she's like, I don't know who I'm writing to because I don't have any friends, I don't have any family, I don't have anybody that's gonna miss me. But just know that I didn't die a bitch and that I died fighting, like defending myself. So like she tries kicking and screaming, trying not to get eaten, and it's super sad because like she's at a certain level, she's just like given into her fate, and she's like, wow, I'm gonna die, I'm really gonna get eaten.
Well, not only is your brain trying to process the fact that they're animals and they're acting this way, and they put these factors in to remind you that they're in an animal world, like tenderizing that meat through fear and stuff like that. But then your brain is also trying to process your empathetic mind that, oh shit, a girl's going through this. You know, a female character is going through this. Holy fuck. You know?
Yeah, and everything I've been describing about Haru's character is like she's really like not afraid to like be herself. She's not afraid of men like that. And this is like a man really like overpowering her to like demoralize her and put her into a vulnerable position, which is like a really gross feeling. You know what I mean?
It's gross.
It doesn't feel right like at all. And I don't mean that to me like be PC, but it just feels like it's so uncomfortable and it's so dehumanizing and it's so.
Because it's made for you to feel that way.
Yeah.
You know? Like, if you don't feel that way, I don't know. But
you're an asshole.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up, man. It's super fucked up. And we've seen other animes with, you know, the subject of rape and stuff like that. But it didn't feel like anything like this.
No.
This felt very abusive.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's, so... At that moment that she's like registered to her fate and she's like, I'm gonna get eaten, that's it, that's all I can do. Lego, she just busts through the door. He's like, how do I fucking hear it? He just punches the main line in the face. And what we know is that Legoshi doesn't like to use his claws really, because when he got fucked up by Bill during the play, Bill like used his claws and Legoshi just uses his fists. Like he doesn't, like, yes, he's strong because he's a wolf, but he doesn't want to use like his carnivore
ways.
Yeah, he doesn't want to use that to his advantage, because even the panda, when they're running upstairs and they're beating the fuck out of everybody, the panda tells him like, yo, these are lions, they are stronger than you, the only thing you have over them is your big ass jaws,
and bite him in the neck. Yeah,
so if you don't start doing that, we are fucked. And Legoshi is still afraid to like use that to his advantage. He's just punching everybody. And there's this like, the final like fight scene is Legoshi versus this lion, and like they're both beating the fuck out of each other and clawing each other up, but at a certain point they're both just like, stop, let's end it right now, like this is gonna be our final stand, like let the best man win. And they just go for it, and that's like the one moment that Legoshi uses his jaws. And he still doesn't like grab onto the lion's throat, he grabs on his shoulder meat.
Yeah.
And he just rips that out. Like, you just see a huge chunk of meat come off with it. And, like, the lion passes out. And, like, when she's full of blood, he's all scratched and just... And he's terrifying because his mouth is all full of blood from, like, ripping out that flesh. And Haru looks at him, and she's still, like...
scared of him as well.
Yeah.
And like, it's a great fucking sequence because what's driving Legoshi is the smell of Haru.
Yeah.
And he just keeps thinking about her smell and her being in harm, and he just flows through those fucking floors and kicks everybody's ass until he gets to that guy. And the fighting scene with that guy, it's like the sequence alone is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It's really good. And like you said, he's all bloody, fucking clothes off and shit like that, but very badass fucking sequence. And fuck, they just get the fuck out of there.
This is the only... like plot, it's not even a plot hole, but this is the only piece of plot that I don't like in season 1 of Beastars, is that like they don't even mention the panda the rest of it. So Panda basically like risked his life. He's probably dead.
Probably. And
just to help Legoshi get up there and rescue this rabbit. And they don't even acknowledge him or talk about him the rest of the season. They like Haru and Legoshi just run out, and Haru's just like, did you do all this? Like, there's all these dead lions everywhere. And he's just like, no, I had help. It was a panda. And that's it. That's all they mention.
Yeah, and some panda I came with.
Yeah, some panda helped me. Some friend I made. And that's it. But the fucked up part is like the end of this episode, which is like episode 10. I don't even know where we're in. Like episode 9.
Yeah, we're on episode 10 at this point. No, episode 11 at this point.
No, it's 9, I think. 9? Into the Lion's Den.
Oh, okay.
So Louis did go back. Louis did go to try to help Haru. So he goes all the way up there. Well, okay, no, I'm wrong. So Legoshi and Haru are running away from the Yakuza hideout, and multi-stories high at the top of the building, the head Yakuza lion's there, and he's got a gun, and he's like, fuck you, Wolf, I'm gonna shoot you in the back for like fucking me up and killing all my guys.
He was almost like a Thanos moment, like, you should have aimed for the head.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like this little act of kindness because he went for the shoulder and not his neck. Like, he's like, this is gonna cost you your life, and he's about to shoot him, but then fucking Louis shows up, being his badass deer self,
and like kicks him in the... Oh, he shoots him.
Yeah. He's like, I want you to fucking like...
He puts the gun barrel in his mouth, and he's like, yo, I want you to beg for your life. But we know that about Louis. Louis gets off on like putting carnivores in vulnerable situations. Yeah, putting them below him. So he's got this gun in his mouth, and he's like, yo, beg for your life. And the lion's not doing it. He's just freaking out. He just shoots him in the head.
And we haven't even mentioned that the way Louis is this way is because he was born into pretty much the black meats market.
Yeah, so this is like, right when this happens, we get this flashback and this Louis, like, moment where, like you're talking about, he was raised in a cage. He was property. He was being raised to be meat for carnivores. And as a child, like, a rich deer came through and bought him. And there's this really fucked up scene because it's like, so he gets bought by this rich deer, and he gets taken to this subsequent floor in the same building where he gets thrown into a room with carnivores, and he gets handed a knife, and he's like, protect yourself. And he's a kid, like, he can't he can't defend himself even with a knife against these carnivores, so he doesn't want to be shamed by being eaten, so he's gonna kill himself. Like, he's gonna cut his own throat. And that's when he gets pulled back into the elevator, because the guy that bought him's like, you have enough pride that you would rather take your own life than be eaten? Like, I commend you for that. I'm going to treat you as my adopted son. If anybody asks you're my biological child, you are...
There's no records of you, so there's no reason to doubt it and shit like that.
Yeah. Like, as far as society is concerned, like, you're my kid. And he's applied to be rich, and that's how, like, Louis got to where he is. Because he's essentially an orphan, bro. Like, it's fucked up. It's super sad. And that's why Louis is the way he is, because he was raised to be vulnerable by carnivores. And so...
And that's why he's the way he is, because he doesn't want to feel afraid. He wants carnivores to feel afraid. Yeah. You know?
And the very next scene, he shoots that dude in the head, is 2 more lions come in and just like, what the fuck did you do? And he gives like a theater speech almost. He's like, y'all are so lucky and blessed that you're about to eat my meat because I'm a divine fucking herbivore. So, and that's like the end of Louis.
Yeah, and we talked about who I think the murderer in the first episode was. And I had the thought in my head, because he was such a devout actor to his, to his theater club, that he would try to go so much into character as far as to eat a person.
I don't think that is right, because there's an after credit scene at the very end of the season. So after episode 12 credit sequence, where we know whatever killed the alpaca in episode 1 knows Legoshi, because there's a scene where Legoshi like meets up with this faceless character out of the restroom and is like, oh, there you are. You ready to go to class? And that's like the end of season 1 of Beastars, is like Legoshi knows whoever the murderer is, but we as an audience don't.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, at the end of episode 12.
Yeah.
That's yeah. Which we continue to follow these last 2 episodes of Beastars, where they try to get back to school, and at the school obviously is a big deal that you don't spend the night there. It's like Hogwarts almost, and
yeah, because
they're stranded pretty much.
There's probably the best character design in the whole anime is this baboon teacher, because like her character model looks good. Like, it looks like straight like 2D animation almost. But yeah, she's mad. She's like, yo, a female student and a male student are out, not in the dorms, and they're together.
Who knows where?
They're doing who knows what. And they found Legoshi's backpack, and there was rabbit porn in there, and like books on like rabbit culture and anatomy and like learning about rabbit like habits.
Like, very psychopathy shit.
Yeah, so he's been like reading up on rabbit literature, and like Legoshi's all fucked up. Like, he's bleeding. Haru was naked when he found her, so she's wearing like his uniform polo, which is ginormous on her. And they're waiting for the train, and something happens. Like, they get in an argument or something, and she gets mad at him, and he raises his voice, and that's when like all the train platform like starts freaking out.
That was way before.
No, because
when she gets angry at him.
No, but it's when they're leaving. They're trying to get back to campus, right? And oh no, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, that was the first.
That was the first time that he walked her back after the Meteor Festival.
Yes, because he was trying to again tell her that he was the one that attacked her or that he loves her, but she wanted to avoid it, so she kept walking away from him.
Right, so okay, let's backtrack here because this part's important, because this is how we see trying to learn how to foster this relationship with the carnivore, because he raises his voice to her, and he's this big, terrifying carnivore, and him raising his voice to an herbivore like that, like, sets off, like, the whole, like, all the random people on the train platform, and there's this, like, yo, this dude's freaking out, like, should we help the girl? Like, if you saw, like, a dude yelling at his girlfriend at the bar, you're like...
What? Like, come on, bro.
Yeah, like, should I step in? Like, bro, like, don't do this here, please. I don't know why this reminded me of this, but, like, I don't know if you remember 2 years ago when I lost my job at Tech. I was a door guy on Cincinnati Street in El Paso for, like, a couple months. I had to kick out this girl because she was yelling at her girlfriend in the bar. And, like, it was super weird because she tried, like, stepping up to me, and she was like I'm not big. Like, I'm not that big. And I work out, like, 3 times a week, so I'm not ginormous. I'm not yoked or anything like that. Uh-huh. But, like, she tried, like, stepping up to me, and I just kept pushing her. Like, it felt like when a toddler or, like, a kid tries stepping up, you just push them a little bit, you know what I mean? It's just like, what are you going to do? You can't even, like, maintain your balance. Like, yeah, she kept trying to push away, and she's like, what, bro? Let me get in there. I was like, no, dude, I'm not going to have you yelling at your girlfriend in the bar. Like, so I just kept pushing her and pushing her and pushing her. And that abusive... It's not abusive. Like Oshii was misunderstood in that moment.
Correct. You see a big-ass carnivore, like, holding this rabbit against his will.
Right, yeah. So then the cop gets involved, and there's a cop on the platform. He's like, yo, son, you gotta come with me. And that's where Haru just grabs him, and she's like, run, just dip. We're gonna dip. We're gonna deal with it later. And they hide in the bathroom together. And that's where, like, Haru starts, like, getting, like, a lot of real respect for, like, Oshii, because they're in a bathroom stall together. Their feet are on the toilet so that they're not shown underneath when the cop, like, looks underneath the stall to find them. And he's trying his best not to touch her. Like, he's trying to be really, like, respectful of her space, even in this, like, cramped situation. And that leads into this after the breakout moment, because now they're trapped in town because all the trains left, and they have to find, like, lodging for the night. And, like, she's still, like, super respectful of her space and her, and he's like, yo, I don't know, like, I can sleep outside, because there's, like, a district in this town that's like a red light district. Like, there's, like, cheap hotels and stuff,
motels and shit.
Yeah, where people are just gonna hook up. And, like, he's like, you know, I'll just give you my money. You can go spend the night in there. I'll spend the night outside. Don't even worry about it. And she's like, no, dude, like, you're beat the fuck up. You just saved my life. Like, get the fuck in this hotel room with me.
Yeah, and it's funny because they also mentioned the fact that it's like, oh, look, this is a, what would you say, like, interspecies couples?
Yeah, they have
friendly motel.
They have to find, like, a specific hotel that allows interspecies couples because it's looked down on. You know what I mean? So, they get into this hotel room, and it's super, like, tacky because, like, there's a whole wall that's just mirrors. The thermostat is right next to the bed.
It's like if you could imagine, like, that cheap, lovey-dovey motel room, like in The Bride of Chucky.
Yeah. It's like that. And, like, Haru has almost, like, given into the fact that she's, like, gonna put out. You know what I mean? Yeah. She's like,
this will save my life. I'm about to jump him.
Yeah. She's like, he can do whatever he wants to me. Like, he just saved my life. And, you see her, like, trying to get in the mood almost. Like, she's trying to, like, convince herself. But he's terrifying. He's ginormous. He's got, like, hands that are, like, 5 times her size. And he's bleeding everywhere. And so he's, like, trying to confess to her almost, and, like, trying to have his anime, like, I'm confessing my love for you moment. And every time he tries to say it, she's like, oh, let me wash your clothes or something. Oh, let me go do this. Let me go do that. She's just, like, she's scared. Like, this is the first moment that even in her head, we see her dialogue. Like, we get all the inner monologues of all these characters. And she's like, when was the last time I was scared around a boy? Like, this has never happened before. Because she's been, like, using her sexuality to, like, overcome the patriarchy since she was, like, 12. Like,
but now she's into it.
Yeah, she likes the dude. And she's like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm terrified. Like,
exactly, yeah. And we see a weird instance where they do try to get a little bit intimate, but then she, like, jumps into his mouth. Like, she starts putting her arm in his mouth, and it's like her instincts to be devoured. I'm like, what instincts are those? Like, I don't know. It seemed very weird. It seemed like almost an excuse.
My assumption that the writing was trying to say was that, like, so that you would feel less pain as an herbivore, you would try to get eaten quicker. That's how I read that. Because he's on top of her. He's feeling up her boobs. She gets naked.
Her rabbit boobs.
Yeah. Her fuzzy rabbit boobs. and he's like mounting her, like he's over her, and he's gonna go in and kiss her, and he opens his mouth and she just like shoves his arm in his big ass mandible, and she's like, what the fuck is going on? And that's like the beginning of episode 12. Like, the episode starts with like Haru inside of Legoshi's mouth, and she's like, and they're both just like, we're totally not gonna fuck now. Like, what is going on?
We both tried to eat. We both tried to make the eating happen.
Yeah. Both our bodies are trying to eat, are just trying to get eaten or eat each other. Like, it's just not gonna happen. So they just sleep next to each other. And they get back to the school. Legoshi's dumb fucked up. Like, he's been bleeding all night. And he gets immediately put into like a hospital bed and just knocks out the rest of the day. And the teacher's yelling at him when the episode starts, and she's just like, but I'm not going to tell the other adults because that's going to make me look bad because I let 2 students lose. So if y'all fucked, don't tell me about it.
Yeah. Pretty much. And it was cool for that, you know?
It felt like real writing almost. You know what I mean? Because like I could totally see some adult being like,
damn it, it's like, don't say a word. Just like Louis, like at the beginning, he's just like, God damn it, it's like, shut the fuck up. Go do your thing. It's like, no, I don't want to hear anything about it. Yeah. Like, you're going to fuck all of us if we tell the truth right now. Like, we're so far beyond that. Like, just go with it. And that's when Juno walks in. And Juno is like, has this huge lesbian crush on Legoshi. And she's just like, oh, what were you doing all night? And she's trying to flirt with him. Like, she's trying to scoot up on the bed. She's trying to feel up on him. And he's just not into it. He's like, whoa, back up. And like... And this is, I keep talking about like the writing in here, but I just love like even scenes like this because it's like, this is the opposite type of writing style that is used for Haru. Because Haru like is sure of herself as a woman that like she can invade a man's space, but like within respectful means. Juno will like... She's not given consent almost. Pushover. Yeah. She's not given consent almost to like be up on Legoshi like that. Like that's what makes him so uncomfortable. Cause it's just like, I'm not letting you in my space like this. Like, get the fuck up. Like, and we haven't even talked about it, but there's an other scene with Juno and Louis, like 5 episodes before this that we didn't even mention, where she like bullies him into having like a practice play session with her. And she like jumps Louis and kind of like mounts him. In the same way that Legoshi does Haru, but instead she's like, you hear Louis being like, what, are you going to kiss me or are you going to eat me? Well, so it's like the same kind of dynamic almost. We did mention that there was a stigma about Louis becoming the Beastars. So we see that there's attempts on his life. Yeah. From carnivores. Because they can be like, oh, fuck though, we're going to have herbivore be a Beastar. It's like, nah. So Juno... being this small freshman gray wolf overpowers him like ASAP. Like he just grabs his wrist control, puts him down on the floor. He's like, "What the fuck are you gonna do?" Yeah, it's like you better step off. Me and Legoshi are gonna be Beastars, and we're gonna be like that power couple. Yeah, she's like, "Yo, you need to stop bullying Legoshi. Like he's too nice to tell you this, but I'm telling you straight up, like step the fuck back." And like. Again, like, Legoshi hasn't acknowledged her. Like, he hasn't given her consent to be part of his life like that. And so, back in the hospital bed, in, like, episode 12, like,
she gets put off and just gets like blown off basically. And so she leaves like the hospital room like all mad. And that's where Haru's outside. And you see that she's afraid to go in because like she doesn't want to confront Legoshi yet because she's like almost embarrassed like that he had to save her. And we get a scene where Juno pins Haru up against the wall and is like, I smell you. You didn't actually hook up with Legoshi or else I'd smell him on you more right now. And it's like that womanly competition almost. And Haru's just like, it's not even like that. Like, why are you making it weird? And she doesn't like that she has boy drama. And she's just like, she almost wants to be like, honestly, you can just have him because I'm not about the drama. Like, I've never had issues with guys like this.
But then again, she takes it personal because Juno is like, you can never make him happy. It's like, bitch, watch.
That's exactly what happens.
It's like, bitch, watch.
Yeah, she's like, what? Like, he's gonna be putty in my hands. Just wait on this. And that's exactly what happens. Like, it's just that, like, womanly competition almost. Because then the Meteor Festival finally happens. Second half of episode 12, which is the last episode, we finally are at the Meteor Festival, which we've been leading up to. And Louis gone because as an audience we know he's probably dead. And Juno has made a plan to like kind of seduce Legoshi / bully Legoshi into being with her.
Yeah, like and like I said at the beginning of the episode, very annoying character because of that.
Yeah,
because it's like, dude, it's like, get the fucking memo, bro.
Yeah, he doesn't fucking want you, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what happens. So she does this dance and like she's a spectacle, but by the end of it, she gets on the mic and she's like, yo, shout out to Legoshi. He's the greatest dude ever. He saved a poor herbivore. This is how like our society is supposed to work with the carnivores stepping up to protect herbivores. And she tries to like get up on him. Like she invites him on stage. And,
almost suggests that they're together.
Yeah. Which, and then in Legoshi's head, he's like, this is kind of like rude, like
intruding.
We're not together, like, bitch, like, get the fuck back.
And she's like, we should go put the fire in the fucking this paper mache meteor thing because it's like a tradition that couples put a candle lit together in the meteor. Yeah,
it's like a Taoist ritual almost. But so Legoshi, as soon as he jumps off stage, he's just trying to use his nose to find Haru, because Haru's always on the forefront of his mind. You know what I mean? His girl's always just like straight up like the first thing he's always thinking about. But his nose is all fucked up because he got punched in the face by these lions. So his nose is just not working. And then we get this. One of my favorite scenes probably is like Haru's right below him. She raises her hand and like gets in his face and she's like, yo.
He's like, hey, stupid, I'm here.
Yeah, hey, stupid, I'm right here. They must have beat the shit out of you harder than we thought. Like if you can't even smell me when I'm right in front of you. And again, like he gets down on like he kneels down to be at eye level with her. Mm-hmm. And the rest of that episode is like, he's trying to like, he's just like, no, like I'm confessing my love to you. Like that's it. Like I'm about you and that's it. Like it's about time that you accept it. If you don't want to be with me, you want to be with me, but I need you to hear it. Mm-hmm. So she like tries running away almost. Like she's running around the festival grounds and he's just chasing after her. He's just like, you know what? Like I'm just about, and no. He's not talking because she's like yelling back at him. You know what? I'm sick of this shit because before you, I didn't have no fucking drama. Now I've got all this boy drama.
These girls, that's cool.
These girls hate me even more. Like I appreciate you for saving me, but I didn't fucking ask you to do that. Like
he's like, I did it because I wanted to. So they get final scene, episode 12. They get on the top of this railing, almost scenic view kind of park.
Yeah.
And he's like, I love you. And I don't care if I'm just telling you that I love you. I'm going to work on myself to like fight these urges of fucking needing you. And yeah. And she's like, okay, I'll be ready. Well, there's some loss in translation again.
I think, the final line in the dub is something to the effect of like,
we're not together yet, but we will be. Yeah,
I'm waiting for you to get your shit together and then we'll be together, because he's so tall that in his hands like lay at his side. There's a scene that's like a moment of hesitation where she thinks to grab his hand almost and she just decides not to and sets it down. and then fireworks start going off in anime shit. It's fucking Your Name.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's fucking Your Name. I don't know. And that's like the end of the anime. Before the after credit scene, that's there's the Legoshi. We know Legoshi does know whoever the murderer on campus is. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the final scene with them is like coming to terms with what their relationship's probably going to be.
Mm-hmm. And then outro, again, great fucking music in every... I think I love the first two episodes. The episode 1 and 2's outro is, I think, one of the best ones.
No, it's good.
It's really nice.
And I looked up the intro music for season 2. I think it's really good because it's not even like jazz anymore. It feels more like a really like pop. It's pop music now, but like it feels really like indie and independent, and the scene is like a lot of dancing, and like it's because I think the metaphor there is because even in the OP for season 1, they're dancing together. They're dancing around their relationship almost. Like the whole show is them coming to terms on how to make the relationship between each other work.
And if you allow me to dive even a couple layers more deep, the entire story, it pretty much ends on this teenage kid finishing his current state of depression.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Because we see Legoshi as sad bum, bro. And people have been there. People get depressed.
Yeah.
But then at the end, episode 12...
He's happy just to be around her.
Yeah, and he's happy with his friends. He's like, hey, man, come on, let's go. It's like, I want to get some food. This fucking, like, he's more active.
Yeah, after the summer break, he's back with his dog best friend, and...
You can see a smile on his face.
Yeah, even like his best friend's like, dude, like, who are you right now? Why are you so happy? Your tail's wagging. And he's just like, come on, let's go get breakfast. Let's go to the cafeteria. Let's do this. Like, Haru is good for him. And like that's, she supports what he's lacking. You know what I mean? And in the opposite sense, he kind of does that for her, but not emotionally, but more in like the physical sense. You know what I mean? Like she has the biggest personality. She's super strong emotionally, but she's physically weak. So she needs her big imposing wolf.
But we forgot to mention this. The reason that Haru really likes him is because he never saw her as the little bunny that she is.
Yeah.
She always gave her place as a woman and as, a person that you want to be your partner. You know what I'm saying? So,
yep.
Getting down and getting to eye level, listening to her, not even mentioning the fact that, oh, let me help you out with this. No, it's like, you got it. You're a strong woman. It was like,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and like I said, it was awesome to see him smile at the end.
Yeah.
It's
really like a fulfilling, like, cap on the season. Like 12 episodes, we've talked about it more than like most 24 episode like animes we've talked about, and it's just dope. Like it's just good shit, good writing, like original story plotting, excellent animation, like 9.5/10 out of 10 animation wise, probably 10 out of 10 music. The like directing style is like the best fucking thing. I can't talk enough about how much the camera moving helps the action scenes. Because if the 3D models usually feel awkward with a standstill camera, like the Lion Yakuza boss and Legoshi fighting with a mobile camera is like... Every anime should be like this. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to use 3D animation, I need it at least to be this good.
Go amp it up. Like, level, like amp that shit up. If you're going to use it, amp it up.
Yeah.
Don't just replace something that you can animate with a 3D modeling and call it even.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, it was great. I thought it was fucking good. 10 out of 10. Is it a must-watch anime for the medium?
No.
I don't think so, but you're not going to regret it.
Yeah, you're not. It's like, I would in no way ever suggest like an entry-level anime viewer to be like...
Watch this bunny get fucked.
Yeah. And it's more to the people that like are actively into anime, but like don't know like a broad spectrum, like what anime, the kind of story that can be told. I would be like, okay, you're ready for Beastars. You know what I mean? Like and it's, I get annoyed that when everybody hears the title Beastars, it's like the meme of it that's about like...
Furry.
Yeah, like furry, like people like hooking up and stuff like that. But it's like, that's definitely not what it's about. like, it's so much more about, like, being sure of yourself as a person while not using, like, your partner as a crutch, but using them as, like, an asset into growing, which is, like, what a lot of people don't even understand in their first relationships at 17, 18 years old. It's not until, like, me now, my relationship with Karen, that I can be like, you know, Karen helps me be better. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
When you're a child, you don't think like that.
Yeah, it's like, what do you mean?
So it's like super mature writing that like they're growing as a couple, which I hope like it stays like that in season 2. I don't want it to be super beat around the bushy all season, but I hope in season 2 like we get a real sense of like them growing as a couple as it's been implied in the entirety of season 1. Like now that they're halfway together, give me a little bit of a payoff there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wouldn't even mind if they stay in the same world and tell a different character story.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I like Legoshi. I like Haru. I know the manga is still focusing around them, but if you were to sell me something as far as like an animated version of something, I wouldn't care if it was based in the same world and give me another story.
Yep. I hope they bring in more side characters too, like the hen or like...
Yeah, that was so weird. That was great.
But it's dope. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's... I don't know, 10 out of 10. Watch it. Anime... My favorite anime of 2020. And I know that's not saying much because 2020 was super dry anime-wise because everything was delayed because of the fucking pandemic. But I, like... There's no doubt in my mind that this is the best anime of 2020.
Yeah, it's really fucking good. But I guess nerd down?
Nerd down.
Nerd down.
Nerd down.
And that was episode 29th of Between Nerds. Thank you, nerds, for listening. Again, please follow us on Twitter, @Between Nerds, Instagram, @Between Nerds. Send us any suggestions or just vent out to our email, betweennerdspodcast@gmail.com. Thank you, everybody, for using the hashtag last month. EP Fire Nerds got, I guess, the most fucking interaction that we had in a while. So we are donating about something with $40-50-ish value to one of our stations here in El Paso, Texas. So I'm excited about that. We also are starting a new month, so that means a new hashtag. But before that, we got a winner. We rolled the dice on...
Yeah, I put up my random number generator right in front of me. Aldo, watch me do it. Like, if y'all don't believe me, oh fucking well, because we didn't record it. But the winner of the January 2021 Between Nerds podcast giveaway is Mr. Christopher James. He was here with us 3-4 weeks ago to talk about One Piece. Thank you, buddy. And I'm just... If only 4 people use the hashtag, he had a 25% chance of winning anyways, right?
Correct.
So, like, it's not a surprise that CJ won the giveaway. Aldo already scooped him up something super nice. Like, it's this badass Luffy figurine. And we know CJ loves One Piece, so
yeah.
I'm sure he'll appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do try to keep in mind what we've watched during this month so we can get something related to what we watched during the month, you know? But sometimes, it's hard. But anyways, thank you, everybody. Shout out to Curves. I know you always do use the hashtag and stuff like that. Thank you, everybody, for liking the hashtag. Our new hashtag of the month, we're going to have hashtags Immigrant Nerds.
Hashtag Immigrant Nerds. We are going to be giving to the Las Americas Immigration Group. They are a nonprofit that tries to provide legal advice to immigrants for little to no cost. And this, I was I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast, but early last year, I was a personal assistant for an immigration attorney in El Paso, and every day we showed up to either the immigration courts or the ICE facilities. Like, Las Americas representation was always there. We live in El Paso. Like, immigration rights are a really big thing here, and a lot of these people are like coming from Central American countries that like are not known for their humanitarian shit. Like, it's a lot of like Guatemalans and Salvadorians, and these are people that need help. You know what I mean? They are escaping a dangerous situation, and these are people that need the legal advice to participate in the protection that the American government can give.
And this is what I don't understand with some of these fucking quote unquote conservatives, that we need more people. The more legal immigration we have, like that's going to be more taxes, more revenue, and people don't seem to get that.
Yeah, even at a straight fiscal level, like more people working means more taxes. Like these people, even if they're not in an ICE facility or something like that, like if they're out and about, like in El Paso, and they're undocumented, then that means they are working. And wouldn't you want that work on the books so that we can tax it? Like that's just how our system of government works. That's where we get our taxes.
Yeah, it's like that's why we want people to come in, whether they're Mexicans, whether they're Europeans, whether they're from anywhere. It's like, come on down, become American, and help the economy as well.
Yeah, and most of the people that like I've seen Las Americas help have been usually end up applying for CAT, which is the Convention Against Torture. And that means that you have to prove to the government that it is literally dangerous for you to go back home. And most of the time they get that. You know what? As long as they have that base level legal representation. Because, you know what I mean? If you don't speak the language, you don't know...
You're afraid.
You're afraid. You haven't been educated in our laws. Mm-hmm. You need that kind of help. You know what I mean? And a lot of times that can cost you like tens of thousands of dollars for just to fill out an application. Mm-hmm. And Las Americas, I think, is a good group that they try to help people like this. Mm-hmm. And I don't know.
So please use the hashtag immigrant nerds for every like, comment, or retweet. We'll be putting those likes and interactions together to donate to this particular nonprofit organization. And it will enter you, if you make an original tweet, it will enter you into our monthly giveaway, which we always get some hot shit. I believe we always get some hot shit.
Yeah.
It's nice.
So just use hashtag immigrant nerds to be entered into our February giveaway starting tomorrow.
That's starting tomorrow. And damn, they're down, man. It's crazy.
There's so much stuff going on right now.
Yeah.
I'm like 2 episodes behind on Attack on Titan. I know you wanted to play Apex with me Friday night, but to be honest, I was catching up on a bunch of anime.
Okay.
I was catching up on season 2 of Dr. Stone. I know you binged season 1 of Dr. Stone on your own.
Yes, sir.
I don't know how we haven't been suggested Dr. Stone, to be honest. I think it's really good.
It's worth to talk about because I really like the animation style. And it's fun. It's almost like Discovery Kids.
Yeah, it's smart because it'll be like, come on, team, we gotta make a battery.
But and very pseudo about it. Like very pseudo-science-y about it.
No, it's real science.
No, it's real science, but they like super simplify it.
Yeah, they so they're like, okay, we gotta make a battery. That means we collect these 3 types of rocks and put them together. And it's like convenient, the kind of expertise they find around the village. He'll be like, we have a super badass blacksmith that can make us light bulbs because that's exactly what the plot needs right now.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it's definitely worth talking about. We also saw WandaVision.
WandaVision's barely starting to make sense. And like Vina was talking about last night, I didn't watch the most recent episode until this morning, but she's right. Like it finally starts to feel like a movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. That intro scene of the blip when she shows up, like when she comes back from being dusted, it was great. It was almost like
it's like horror. It's like I forgot that happened.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of stuff that WandaVision keeps bringing up. I'm like, oh shit, I forgot that's part of like the plot line to the MCU right now. Like the episode last week where they were talking about Ultron killing Wanda's brother. I'm like, oh fuck, I forgot that's how Quicksilver died. Like who, and that was like 10 years ago already. Like it's almost weird that I was expected to like remember that plot point this long.
It's almost like One Piece-y.
Yeah, it's really like One Piece. And I like that they're bringing back like people from the S.H.I.E.L.D. shows because I never watched them, but I'd like having a continuous universe that like still fits together. Because they weren't that popular. They all got canceled. All the MCU-related TV shows got canceled.
Mm-hmm. And I think that was just to put them all in Disney+.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
You're probably right. So now we're going to have like a sword show as opposed to a S.H.I.E.L.D. show all the time. And what got me about this episode of WandaVision is I know I bitch about it all the time, but I don't like super generic science characters. Because, so they introduce like this engineer chick.
Oh, the astrophysicist?
Yeah, but for some reason she can read radio waves, and
Lizzie Kaplan or whatever her name is.
Yeah, and she's really good at just like all these other technologies that have nothing to do with her field. But the plot needed a generic science person that can do anything and build anything, so that's what it was given.
Correct.
I don't like that kind of writing.
Well, it is made into a show, so I wasn't expecting a lot of deep writing. I was just expecting this to be fun, and then for them to connect some points. I'm
confused on where it's going to go from here, because it's clear that like Wanda made this universe little bubble that we already knew about, and the whole government is outside of the town of Westview just waiting for something to happen.
Well, from what I'm led to believe is that Wanda might be the antagonist.
Yeah, probably.
On Doctor Strange, what is it?
Universe of Madness?
Universe of Madness, yeah.
Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, Multiverse of Madness.
Something like that.
Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, I like it. I enjoy it because we haven't had any narrow material, from Marvel. So I like it. It's nice to watch it.
I feel like I'm more excited for it to end than I am to watch like more episodes, because I just want to know
what the fuck is gonna.
Yeah, like where are we gonna be left off at the end of the WandaVision show, as opposed to like watching week to week and being like, oh, what's gonna happen this week? I don't care about that right now. I care more about like, okay, so they're right in the show. Vision's dead. Wanda gets like a vision of him where he has no color.
Stoned.
Yeah, he has no color in his face, and he's just got this big hole in his forehead where the Mind Stone was ripped out. And it's just, I just want to know where it ends. I don't care about the buildup right now.
It's because I think we know so much about it.
Yeah, that's probably the issue.
Yeah, we know so much about it, we're just going with the flow.
It's it's okay, it's all right, but what we did watch last night that we talked about last episode was that you were finally going to watch Mean Girls. Because you had never seen probably one of the funniest movies of our generation, but you didn't even like it. So I don't even know what the point of this past week was.
It's because I was trying to put my brain into like, okay, back then, okay, whatever, okay. But I think where you put Mean Girls, I puts Superbad, because Superbad is more related to, I guess, our gen, and I think you're being so boomer about Mean Girls.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
Mean Girls probably only came out like 2 years before Superbad, maybe, if not the same time. When did Superbad
But in 2004, we weren't in high school, we were in middle school.
Okay, we were in middle school. I feel like I didn't see it till high school, but like it feels like you were right when we were watching it last night, that like it feels dated because the outfit's really dated. The music's bad. Like the music is terrible, and
the music is terrible because it's just like they're making songs to sound like famous songs, but they don't have the rights to pay for. They don't have the money to pay for the rights to play the songs.
You'll even hear the actors be like, "Yo, do you even know who this is?" And you, as an audience member, you're like, "I don't even know who this is. Like, how would I know?" But Superbad only came out 3 years later. Mm-hmm. But the thing about
3 years later, 2004, that makes it 2007.
Right. So the thing about Mean Girls, though, is like it's so quotable. Like, so it's like me, you, V&A, and Dominic Rodriguez watching it. Mm-hmm. Like, me and V&A were quoting the whole fucking movie, and when you compared it to Superbad, it reminds me more of Pineapple Express. Like, I can quote the entirety of Pineapple Express front to back, and just like Mean Girls. Like, Superbad doesn't have any really quotable moments. Like,
I think it does.
No, like, I remember Superbad at the time. I would always defend it being like, yeah, it doesn't have any like super funny moments, but like it's relatable. Like Superbad has no.
Oh, you got some lube. You got some lube. You think she's gonna be lube? You know.
But that's more awkward. That's not like a laugh out loud kind of moment. It's
I think it is. Like when he goes to the gas station and get the beer. Oh, I've had this for years, and he's trying to act all grown up.
But I'm not laughing out loud for that. That's like, oh, it's awkward, it's giggly.
I'm not laughing out loud about just quoting some weird shit. Oh, you can't sit with us. Ha ha ha.
That's great. What do you mean? Like, it's like, bro, every meme the past like 15 years has been based off of Mean Girls.
And this is what I was trying to tell you last time, that not just because it's memeable. makes it good.
I just think maybe you saw it too late.
Maybe I did. It didn't age well.
I feel
and
like
I asked you this question. Do you think it aged well?
I think for somebody that grew up with it, sure, like the outfits are terrible, the music's bad, but it's a product of its time. Mm-hmm. For like a new person, I can't be like, hey Aldo, pretend you're 12 and you're watching this for the first time.
Yeah, and I can absolutely see that, because even if you were to show somebody like, I don't know, like American Pie, that it's our age, and you're trying to show them that he never saw American Pie. American Pie is kind of weird too.
But American Pie is like a Gen X kind of thing. Like that's like a gen above us.
Yeah. And I think the other one was almost there.
I think you like the movies that are more like you were almost born too late. Like you like movies that are like 10 years before us. I
do like a lot of movies.
You like movies from like mob movies from the 90s.
I do like mob movies.
Like when it comes to,
but I also like new movies.
But like when it comes to like Gen Y mainstays,
I like Project X.
I feel like I don't like Project X anymore. I feel like when was I haven't seen Project X in a while, but I feel like if I saw it right now, I wouldn't even like it, because it's that one Kid Cudi song for an hour and a half.
Yeah,
and
they still have known with drugs, and it's just fuckery all the time, and it's.
I feel like I don't even relate to that anymore.
Yeah, absolutely not. But when you saw it, you were like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Cool. Or what's the other movie, like Hangover? First Hangover.
Yes,
you know,
but like the first Hangover holds up though.
It does.
Like when I think like what comedy movies raised you, I think like Step Brothers, Pineapple Express, and Mean Girls. Huh?
I fucking love Step Brothers. I fucking love Pineapple Express. If I were to change Mean Girls for something else, it would be Superbad. Like the equivalent to Mean Girls.
In your head is Superbad.
In my head is Superbad.
I don't see it. But like, I can't convince you otherwise, because I can't put you in my head at like 13 years old.
Yeah.
I can't really like put you in that moment, because growing up with this for like 4 years through high school, this was like the meme of it. Like every year for 4 years of high school, I feel like it was just people just making fun of each other just based on Mean Girls.
Mm-hmm. I never really saw it. But then again, I didn't pay much attention to my outside world.
Were you depressed?
No. Like mean? I was just like, I'm always in my head. I don't really pay attention to people. I don't pay attention to my surroundings unless I really care about it, like my friends. But some other people, I don't like people. You know what I'm saying? So in high school, I wasn't into like being into what everybody was doing.
Do you think you're a sociopath?
No. But the way I grew up in Juarez and going to school in Juarez, I feel like Juarez now, because of media, social media and stuff like that, have more American tendencies. But because when I was growing up in school in Juarez, like nobody was into their shit like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get that.
So when I came over here and I started going to high school over here, and people were like talking about MySpace and shit like that, I was like, what?
I had a MySpace I must have had a MySpace in like 7th grade.
Don't get me wrong, I got it and I got the gist of it. And this is something that I talked to my girlfriend even when we started dating. It's like, oh, well, why didn't you post me? Or why didn't you do this? It's like, oh, it's because I don't see it like that. Like, it's not a part of my
you didn't
life.
grow up with social media like that?
Yeah.
And like, I think the opposite. Like, I feel like I always talk like, as a millennial, like growing up in the US, like, we created the internet the way it is now. You know what I mean? People still bitch about Vine, even though it's like a 10-year-old platform, and like how it's not as good as TikTok, and like they're not the same. You know what I mean? Because I remember when Vine was a thing when I was in college. This must have been like 2012, 2013. If you were on Vine long enough, you would start seeing the same videos over and over. Mm-hmm. And what I don't like about people our age is that we've turned so boomerish. Like, we know that TikTok is similar to Vine, and we can't differentiate to the point, like, we are so in love with an old dead platform that we can be like, no, I grew up with Vine, I'll never fucking download or watch TikToks, that shit's whack.
I had Vine and I didn't even see it like that. I deleted it like...
Really?
Yeah, bro, like...
I remember being obsessed with Vine.
And that's what I'm saying, like... I was never into... I was into the stuff that I was into, and that was my business, and I didn't really get the gist of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you're telling me, oh, everybody fucking quoted this fucking movie, I knew they were quoting that movie, but I'm like, I don't want to watch that movie. It's like I don't need to watch it to be, I guess, to relate to these people.
I don't know, and I can't convince you otherwise. You know what I mean? Like at this point, it's just like you're too far removed from it.
It's because I'm telling you, bro. Like the way I at least for me, like going to school in Juarez, growing up in Juarez, like kids were friends and were friends for no other reason than they just like each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't about fitting in. It was about you getting to know people, good people. And you hung out with those people, and there was no cliques. There was no.
I feel like high school for me at some point tried to be like that, but I never let it be.
Exactly.
And I remember, so I was doing like theater tech my junior year of high school, and like, but I was always so like removed and like into myself because I thought everything was stupid. Mm-hmm. I remember everybody thought I was a senior already, and I remember just having to be like, no, like
I'm a freshman.
Honestly, I never got a lot of voice cracking, and
yeah, it hasn't changed.
and it was just like funny because Mean Girls feels like a world in and of itself. Like it's not you're thinking of something like we modeled ourselves off of Mean Girls cliques and stuff like that, and I feel like it was never like that. It was like a satire without being labeled as a satire, because you compared it last night to Not Another Teen Movie, which is a literal satire. It's like a literal satire. But Mean Girls was like making fun of popular tropes at the time.
Correct.
Like it had the jock stupid guy. It had
the Mean Girls.
Lindsay Lohan is like a mean girl, and like just girls being bitches to each other. But it was making fun of how stupid that was.
Yes, yeah.
But if you're so far removed from that, it's like, who cares? Like, I don't care about high school drama narratives anymore. Like, Karen has recently been rewatching Pretty Little Liars. Mm-hmm. I think it's such a dumb show. I think it's such a dumb show. It's just, I don't care for that superficial drama anymore. It's like watching, you never watched Gossip Girl either, did you?
Nope.
It's the same thing. It's like just dumb, superficial, like he said, she said, fake drama narratives.
Yeah, like Riverdale now.
I'm almost 30. Like, I don't care about that kind of writing anymore.
Yeah, I feel you. And you know what, too? Like, it makes a big difference, like, going to school in uniform.
You think?
Yeah, because everybody's dressed the same.
Yeah.
You know, there's no way to... Because the reason they do uniform in Mexico, it's so kids don't get put down for their class. Because if you have a kid that it's privileged enough to go to school over there, you don't want him to be dressed... You know, if he doesn't have the clothes, everyday clothes to go to school, you don't want him to have his raggedy clothes. You make him a uniform so they can be all... in equal eye level, you know, to each other. Yeah. So I guess that's also why I never really fell into the tropey high school cliquey stuff.
Right. I don't even remember cliques being a thing in high school for me.
No, but you know, there's just the groups of this.
By the time it was my senior in high school, I don't remember anybody caring about groups or like. No. I remember like if I could going out on a weekend, like my senior of high school. And, like, no one gave a shit about, like, who you were 2 years before. I just remember, like, everyone just mingled with everybody at that point. It was super, like, the opposite of Mean Girls almost. Like, Superbad-ish, where Superbad, like, the party at the end of Superbad, it's the whole school just hanging out and just being, like, just raging with each other. And that's how it felt, like, for me in high school at least.
It felt for me like that, but I did see... people be mean to certain people just because some reason or something other. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know.
I think we had different experiences.
Probably.
Maybe Motwood was like a lot more progressive.
Probably.
Just kidding.
No, I'm just saying it's like I did see people be mean to people. You know what I'm saying? For a dumbass ass reason.
Yeah, and that's... I don't know why we're trying to break down Mean Girls this much, but, like, it's a lot of dumbass reasons. Mm-hmm. It's just funny, quotable shit. I'm glad you watched it. It was whatever. But I think we should get into detailing, like, how the rest of February is going to look, to be honest.
Let's do it.
So, if Beastars was the beginning of our Valentine's Day month, being a romance narrative, this next week we are going to be watching A Silent Voice, which is probably like one of the best like anime love narratives, period, and it's in movie form, so it'll be easier for us to watch because it's just 1 hour and a half fucking movie. Mm-hmm. The week after that, we're going to be, which is the episode that's probably going to come out the day before Valentine's Day, is going to be Rent a Girlfriend.
Mm-hmm. Funny as fuck.
Funny as fuck. Came out last year. So something fairly recent. And it's just like a subversion on the romance trope in and of itself, right? Because it's about escorting almost. It's a girl you rent for a few hours on an app. And then the week after that, we're going to be watching Kaguya-sama Love is War, which is probably one of the funniest recent like rom-com anime narratives, because it's about love being like a battlefield. You know what I mean? So our main two characters can never confess to each other, even though they both obviously like each other, because love is war. Love is a battlefield. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't let somebody have somebody be able to one-up you relationship-wise. Mm-hmm. Which is like the opposite kind of writing about Beastars. Because in Beastars, like Legoshi puts himself down so that he can be at his girl's like level.
Correct.
And then last, we're going to be watching I Want to Eat Your Pancreas, which is like, it's ranked fairly high. I'd never heard about it until you brought it up, but it's ranked like number 79 on my anime list.
Mm-hmm. It's not popular, but I have heard it, and the name has been thrown around like in Reddit and like the meme community and like some anime fucking TikToks. So just because of the name, I want to watch it, and I think it's gonna be about pancreatic cancer.
Is it?
Maybe.
I didn't know that.
That makes me think about that.
So that'll be wild. And then just don't forget to use hashtag immigrant nerds to be entered into our February giveaway. Mm-hmm. And that's about it.
Yeah, hashtag immigrant nerds. Please use it. And yeah, congratulations to Christopher James, CJ. We'll get your, we'll call you right now after the episode. And that was episode 29's Nerd Down. Anything else, brother?
No, I think that's it. I just want to thank everybody, because we're, like I said at the beginning, we're like 4 downloads away from passing episode 2,000. So by the time you listen to this, we'll have passed 2,000 total downloads since July 1st. If you remember, I freaked out in November once we passed 1,000. So it took us like 6 months to get to 1,000. It took us 2.5, maybe 3 months to get to 2,000. That is the definition of exponential growth.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. This has been Between Nerds.
This has been Between Nerds.